Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Tricky Gym. We have got Gym Leader Challenge League Nights happening here at Full Grip Games, and I am so excited to see what decks these players have brought for this week's Gym Leader Challenge stream. We are actually getting into the action right now, right this very second. I just opened a bunch of product from Destined Rivals, as you can see right here, but this league night is underway, folks. As you can see, we've got plenty of players here in attendance, and I apologize for things being a little bit haphazard as I'm getting started. There we go. Beautiful. Round one is actually already underway. Let's get into it. We have got Chase Juicy versus Dylan Ryan here for round one. And looks like Chase is on the right, piloting his Dragon deck. Dylan Ryan going to be piloting Water tonight. Should be a great matchup. Dragon is being hyped as one of the strongest decks in the format right now. And a lot of it has to do with the new Raging Bolt card that has also been doing quite well in standard formats. Raging Bolt has the ability to chase down evolving Pokemon on the bench before they get to evolve up, and there are a lot of evolving Pokemon in Gym Leader Challenge, especially in a deck like Dylan's Water deck, but we see Dylan's got an answer to that bench snipe with the Manaphy hitting the bench right now. Manaphy has got the Water Veil ability, which makes it so that it prevents all damage targeting Dylan's bench Pokemon. So it's very, very strong ability there. And we'll make it so that Chase's Raging Bolt will be effectively useless against Dylan's deck. Dylan does have Irida and also has got Baxcalibur in hand. So, I mean, this is looking like a really, really good start for Dylan. I mean, this is about as good as it gets. Dylan's got Irida, Baxcalibur in hand, and then has Alolan Vulpix on the bench as well. So Alolan Vulpix will be able to use that Beacon attack, which is a free attack, allows you to search your deck for a pair of Pokemon. You can get any two Pokemon you want out of your deck and put them into your hand. So great ability for getting things started off, especially when you're trying to evolve up a bunch of Pokemon all at once. Let's head over to the league setup here, the tournament table, so we can take a look at some of the cards we're going to be seeing in today's matchup. There's the Alolan Vulpix, and Dylan is using that Beacon attack. Search the deck for Octillery and Drizzile. Octillery and Drizzile are going to be very important for getting this train moving. Octillery has got the Abyssal Hand ability, which allows you to fill your hand to 5 cards once during your turn. And then Drizzile has got the infamous Shady Dealings. When you evolve it from your hand, you can search your deck for any trainer you want and put it into your hand. It's just that good, folks. It's just that good. Incredible. And now we see Chase has actually got access to Crispin off of the Pokegear. And Crispin, very good card in standard format, also making waves in Gym Leader Challenge, especially in this Dragon deck, because Dragon attackers often require multiple different types of energy, like this Drampa, for instance. And Drampa has got the Dragon Arcana attack, does 70 damage plus 70 more damage. If it's got 2 or more different types of basic energy. I do think that Dylan should just win here. Top decking the energy guarantees it. Rare Candy, Baxcalibur. No, because there's no ear. Oh, and then Shady Dealings. Yeah, for letter, and that's it. Shady Dealings for letter or bucket, and that's a wrap, folks. Dylan going to take an easy win in round 1. As Chase was unable to find another Pokemon there to continue playing. Tough one. As you can see, Chase has kind of walked off. Had just found Quick Ball off of the prize card, so was going to be able to start to set up more that next turn after finding the Quick Ball, but unfortunately got benched out by a quick Baxcalibur. That is really tough, folks. That is tough. Unfortunate luck there for Chase, but we have got 21 players in the house tonight, so that means we are going to have 5 rounds here at Gym Leader Challenge League Nights at Full Grip Games. 5 rounds while players compete for a piece of that sweet, sweet store credits. That's right. Now, we have got the Full Grip Games Gym Leader Challenge $3,000 cash event coming up on June 1st, actually. It's coming right up. It is going to be the largest cash pool ever offered for a Gym Leader Challenge tournament anywhere in the world. So that is going to be very exciting. And I am super looking forward to that. That's not this upcoming weekend. It's the weekend after on Sunday. I'm going to be joined by my good friend Riley Hulbert to cast the whole thing from the Tricky Gym studio here at Full Grip Games. And of course, on Saturday, we've got the $3,000 cash standard release weekend event. So a 6K doubleheader. Space is very limited and seats are almost sold out. So definitely make sure to check that out. If you are interested in making a trip to Akron, there's never been a better time, especially with the opportunity to test for the North American International Championships, which are coming up very quickly. This is going to be one of the first opportunities to try out the newest cards from Destined Rivals and play them in a competitive tournament setting. All right, now I had a mad dash to get the stream started because I was transitioning from a pack opening to the league night. So hang tight, folks. I am going to be right back. I'm going to adjust some settings on my cameras, make sure everything is ready to go. We've got a 5-rounder this evening, so going to be plenty of Pokemon TCG action to keep you satiated coming right up. But hang tight. I'll be right back after this quick break. Thank you so much for being here. All right, folks. Thank you for the patience. We are back. Okay. I seem to have... Yeah, that brightness looks okay. I think I did all right. Things are looking fine. And I've got the table brightened up a little bit. I've been... that's perfect right there. That's good. That's good. That looks good. But then you can kind of see like the waves behind me. You see that? I need to figure out like the correct frequency so that you can't see like the waves of the lights. This stuff is complicated. A lot goes into this. It's too much, actually. This is the stuff you don't get to see. Usually. That looks good. Perfect. Okay. So yeah. Round one was unfortunately was a dunk. So we've got a little time until the second round going to be coming up, but we've got a lot to talk about because Pokemon, there's just always so much happening in the world of Pokemon. Directly before this stream, I got to open some new Destined Rivals product from the Pokemon Company International. I got to open a booster bundle. I got to open a booster box, and I got to open an Elite Trainer box. I pulled a Full Art Judge. I got some cool new Art Rare Rocket cards, like the Team Rocket's Raticate. Also, I think my best hit was probably... Honestly, my favorite card that I pulled is this Art Rare Houndoom for sure. This card is just absolutely gorgeous. Love that. I also pulled two of the Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX, which I do need if I want to build that deck. And then I think my best hit was probably this Full Art Moltres. So nothing spectacular, but that's the way it goes, isn't it, folks? When you're opening booster packs. Honestly, the coolest thing that I got was probably those Team Rocket dice. The Team Rocket rolling die. That thing is real slick. We've got lots of players here tonight. 21 players competing for the top spots in tonight's Gym Leader Challenge League Nights event. And if you're unfamiliar with how things go here at Full Grip Games, players compete in a championship series every year. You can actually see the series leaderboard right over here, okay? I would like to mount it or hang it somewhere. I just haven't quite gotten to that yet, okay? So the way that it works is that every week on Thursday nights, players compete to try and win with whatever deck they're working with at the time. So in Gym Leader Challenge format, you can only play one type of Pokemon in your deck. So it's either a water deck or a fighting deck, lightning deck, fire deck, whatever, what have you. And the idea is that you're kind of emulating a gym leader, right? And that you can only play one type of Pokemon. Gym leaders, famously in the Pokemon series, specialize in a single type of Pokemon. So Gym Leader Challenge is a format. You can only play one type of Pokemon. It's also singleton, kind of like Magic the Gathering's Commander format. There are some similarities between Gym Leader Challenge and Commander. But Gym Leader Challenge is a one-on-one format. So players compete every Thursday night here at Full Grip Games to try and win with their chosen deck type. And if you win with a deck type, then you earn a badge, as we see here. And there are 10 different types in the Pokemon TCG, and you can earn 10 different badges. You cannot earn duplicate badges, so once you earn your grass badge, you cannot play with it again, or you can play with it, but you cannot earn another badge. So if you win with grass twice, you're not going to get 2 grass badges, okay? So you could play it again, though since implementing the badge system at Full Grip Games, nobody has ever attempted to win with the same type more than once. Almost everybody that plays is bought into the badge system and really wants to try and earn as many badges as possible. So we keep a leaderboard so that you can keep track of how many wins you have throughout the year. And the badge race resets at the end of the year in July. So we're actually coming up on the end of the 2025 season in July. And the player with the most badges earned, so the player that has won with the most different types of decks throughout the year, is the Gym Leader Challenge season champion. So as we can see right now, JD and Alex Carpenter are both tied at 6 badges. So it is a very tight race, but we do have a chase pack as well with Fran right there in the middle, rocking 5 badges. And then Craig's got 4. Ben Peacock's got 4. I mean, it is a very tight race right now. Still anyone's game. And Ben Morse got 3 badges. And with a handful of weeks left, there's still a lot of room to shake up the badge race. Also, every player that earns a badge during the year at Full Grip Games GLC League gets entered into a invite that'll be taking place in early August or late July. And for the Invitational, you can only play a deck with the same type of as a badge that you earned. And I believe that we're doing the winner of the Invitational this year is going to get it's like the winner of the Invitational, either the winner of the Invitational or the winner of the badge race gets like free GLC entries for a year. So just fun stuff for the players to compete for week in and week out. And we got like a serious meta here. I mean, it's definitely a competitive league. Like I said, we got 21 players tonight. It's a $5 entry, and 100% of the payout, 100% of the entry fees get paid out in store credits. So with 21 players here tonight, that means that we've got over $100 in store credit prizing is going to get paid out to the top 4 finishers. Gym Leader Challenge, only $5 entry. And then Standard is $10 entry. And we stream Standard on Wednesday nights. Gym Leader Challenge is a little bit more of a casual format, in that it is a fan-run format, but GLC players don't play GLC for the money. They play for the clout, for the pride, for the brewing of the unique singleton deck lists that you get to play. It is just a whole lot of fun. So let's head over to Poke Beach, see what other kind of Pokemon news we got going on. I heard that Poke Beach reported that allocations were like slashed for the upcoming black and white reprint set, which the limited information that I have has been the opposite of that. So I don't know who John is getting his info from, his intel, but like I heard that things are going to be just fine for the black and white reprint set. It seems like one hype thing after another in the world of Pokemon. The Team Rocket set, the Evolutions, Prismatic Evolution sets, and now we've got the black and white reprint sets. It's like our dual mini set dropping this summer. White Flare and Black Bolt, right? Okay, cool. We got some new cards to look at from White Flare and Black Bolt. We've got the illustration rare Zorua from White Flare. Take a look at that. Gorgeous artwork there. Love the moon in the background. Looks wonderful. And then Vullaby and Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz, all right, cool. Mandibuzz is a Stage 1 Pokemon. Nice menacing artwork. And it's got the Hunt for Prey ability. Once during your turn, you may have your opponent reveal their hand, choose a basic Pokemon with 70 hit points or less you find there, and put it onto their bench. Ooh, boy. So if your deck preys on little basics, if your deck wants to knock out little guys or spread damage onto little guys, then this Mandibuzz could certainly help with that. And also, just once during your turn, you get to look at your opponent's hand, which is like also pretty crazy. So it's really a dual effect. You get to look at your opponent's hand every single turn, so you have constant knowledge of what your opponent is doing. And then you could also choose a basic Pokemon and put it onto their bench. And there are a lot of different strategies in the Pokemon TCG where that could be useful. Spread strategies where you're trying to spread damage onto little guys. Of course, we did just get the Shaman printed in Destined Rivals, so we do have Bench Barrier now to protect from spread strategies, but there are always other ways to spread, like Dragapult EX, for instance, which places damage counters and is not blocked by this Mandibuzz. And then Cutting Wind, 9 damage for 3. That's neat. Gothitelle from White Flare, all right. The old Gothitelle from back in the day. As we've seen, I haven't read this yet. This is going to be my first time seeing this. But they have they've been doing a lot of like kind of reprinted effects and callbacks to the original cards printed from the first black and white era, since this is kind of like a callback to those original cards. There was a Gothitelle printed, had the Magic Room ability, which as long as it's in the active spot, your opponent can't play any item cards from their hand. It looks like they've kind of already used that style of ability on a Jellicent. That is a Jellicent EX, actually. So I don't expect this to have that, but let's see. Twisted Future. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in the active spot, you may have your opponent shuffle their hand into their deck and draw 3 cards. Wow, that is disruptive. You can limit your opponent to just a 3-card hand, but Gothitelle has to be in the active spot. Gothitelle only has 150 hit points. Yo, thank you, Jamie, for that sub over on Twitch. I appreciate it. And the 42 months. Thank you. And then, let's see. Well, if the Gothitelle has to be in the active spot, let's see if its attack is any good. Its attack, Synchro Shots, does 90 damage, and if you have the same number of cards in your hand as your opponent, it does 90 more damage. Okay, so I would say that this is not really a card that is going to see any play in standard format. I wish that it was. I wish that Stage 1 Pokemon or Stage 2 Pokemon like this could see play in standard format, but they just can't. They can't anymore. And I was thinking about it, and I don't know why I never really kind of pieced it together like this before, but if you look at the original Pokemon EX, right? Like, so when Pokemon EX were first released in the Ruby and Sapphire set, right here, this was the first set that had Pokemon EX, right? And if you take a look at them, basic Pokemon EX, 90 hit points on a basic Pokemon EX that gave up 2 prize cards, right? 90 hit points. 90 hit points. 110 hit points. He's a big guy. 120 hit points. The biggest guy. Mewtwo, for instance. All right, Mewtwo has got 100 hit points. Let's just compare Mewtwo's because it keeps everything the same, right? So we've got Mewtwo EX, 100 HP, basic Pokemon. Actually, it was a pretty decent card. I think Jimmy Ballard top 32 the World Championships with a Mewtwo EX card. But look at the power disparity between the Stage 2 Pokemon, right? Like Blaziken, very good card. Gardevoir, very good card. Swampert, very good card. All right, so your average Stage 2 that was not a rule box Pokemon had about 100, 110 hit points at this time. And your average basic Pokemon EX, you could give it a generous 100 HP average, right? But like average probably like 90. We'll say 100. Average HP 100. So you're saying that stage 2 Pokemon that were single prizers and your basic EXs had the same amount of HP back in 2004. All right, well, if we look at the most recent set, let's say Journey Together, right? Destined Rivals obviously isn't out yet, so it's not here on this website. Well, let's just look at Journey Together, right? So in Journey Together, your average stage 2 that's like a single prize stage 2 Pokemon probably has 140 to 180 hit points, right? 180 is like the very high end for a single prize stage 2. 140 is like the low end. So we'll split the difference, say 160 HP is like the average. Right, here's 170. 160 is about average for your stage 2 Pokemon, single prize stage 2 Pokemon. And then your basic EX Pokemon, the average HP for a basic EX Pokemon is like 220, 230. And we know cards like Raging Bolt EX have 240 hit points. So at this point, like the EXs are just like so much bigger than the single prize Pokemon by like quite a large margin. And then of course you've got like your stage 2 EXs are even bigger, like twice the size of your single prize Pokemon. So like the single prize stage 2 Pokemon is just it's kind of like the weakest that it's ever been in the history of the Pokemon TCG right now. It's just not really worth investing 2 evolutions in 2 turns because, you know, Pokemon basically have summoning sickness when they come into play. You can't evolve them until the following turn. So like investing multiple turns into getting 150 hit point Pokemon into play is just like pretty much completely useless in the Pokemon TCG. Unless, of course, you're running this card Dusknoir. Dusknoir is like the exception to the rule. It's not the rule itself because Dusknoir's only job is to literally Curse Blast and blow itself up to place 13 damage counters. So Dusknoir doesn't actually have to stay in play in order to be useful. It actually detonates the second it comes into play. So like kind of the exception to the rule. But yeah, Gothitelle, I do think Gothitelle could be quite good in Gym Leader Challenge format though. So in Gym Leader Challenge format, which is the format that we're streaming here tonight at Full Grip, there's a lot more evolving because there are no rule box cards allowed in Gym Leader Challenge format. So you actually can't play any of those very powerful EX cards, GX cards, or anything like that. So you have to evolve in order to get many of the most powerful Pokemon in the format into play. So in Gym Leader Challenge format, that balance is more present than you will find in standard format. There's more balance between basics, stage 1s, and stage 2s. Basics are still very powerful in Gym Leader Challenge format. Don't get me wrong, the Pokemon Company loves their single prize basic Pokemon as well. And there are basic single prize Pokemon with 150 hit points. I don't know why the Pokemon Company feels like there should be basic Pokemon with the same amount of HP as Pokemon that have to evolve twice in order to get into play. That doesn't really make sense to me, but whatever. I'm not a game designer, so, well, I am in a way, I guess. I did make Gym Leader Challenge. But anyways, Gothitelle in Gym Leader Challenge format is quite good. Twisted Future, having the ability to just set your opponent's hand to 3 cards at any point when it's in the active spot is great. Hand Disruption in Gym Leader Challenge is like a premium. You do have an Iono that you can play, but setting to 3 cards, especially if it happens to be early in the game, is quite good. And then Synchro Shot, 90 damage, plus 90 more damage if you have the same amount of cards in your hand as your opponent. Obviously pairs really well with the Iron Boulder, okay? And Iron Boulder is one of like the strongest, most popular new attackers that Psychic has. It's got the adjusted horn attack. If you don't have the same number of cards in your hand as your opponent, the attack does nothing. So you could feasibly really start to lean into that hand matching strategy if you played both Gothitelle and Iron Boulder in your deck. That's cool. There's synergy there, right? And who doesn't like a little bit of synergy? So that is neat for Psychic type decks. You could play Gothitelle and Iron Boulder, match your hand size to your opponent's hand size, and profit off of it. Very good. TPCI dramatically increases vending machines across the United States. Really? That's kind of funny. I guess these are pretty popular in Japan, and I guess they'll be popular in the United States too. As of this morning, TPCI has listed 1,473 Pokemon TCG vending machines operating in 25 states. When I last reported on the total in March, there were less than 200 operating in 6 states. Whoa. That's crazy. Yeah. That is a significant increase for sure. Y'all ever seen one of these? I feel like I've seen a couple now out in the wild. Definitely. Did I see these in Japan? I feel like I saw these in Japan. I saw vending machines that gave out plushies in Japan. Fascinating. Inferno X set to release in September. Features Mega Charizard. Oh, baby. Just what we needed. More Charizard cards. For the past decade, Charizard has always been the star of the second or third set of each block. That's crazy. Flash Fire, Burning Shadows, Darkness Ablaze, Obsidian Flames. Bro, the fact that, dang, dude. They love Charizard. That's crazy. They're all over the West Coast, I'm hearing, all the vending machines. I know. I get it. Listen, the Pokemon Company, they make like a lot of money. But imagine like a set that didn't have Charizard as like the guy, right? What if it was Tyranitar? There are other popular guys, right? Like what if it was Tyranitar? What if Tyranitar had his own set, you know? That'd be freaking sick. It doesn't need to just be Charizard all the time. It could be Tyranitar. I was looking up cards because I want to try and collect every Rockets card that exists. Every dark card, every dark Pokemon, not like darkness type, but every dark Pokemon and every Rockets Pokemon. And I forgot that this guy existed. Mainly because these cards were not printed in English, to my knowledge. Rockets Tyranitar. I didn't even know who this guy was here in the background of this card. But I really want this card. He's so cool. The VS series cards were only printed in Japan. I think there was like a... I think...
Sorry, I didn't understand that.
Siri, stop it. Anyways. I think there was like a very limited run of Oh, Sean's in the chat. What am I missing? Yo, Sean, I'll have to. I'm missing all the ones from the VS series. So I am missing the Tyranitar, the Legendary Dogs, and Wobbuffet from the VS series. And then I'll have to make my way through a lot of Rocket Returns. Rocket Returns is like the hard one. I have everything from the original Rocket set, first edition and unlimited. I have everything. I have a lot of the EXs, but not all of them. I'm missing like an English Rocket Zentei EX. I have a Japanese one though, and that's okay. I also am missing an English Rockets Mewtwo EX from Rocket Returns, but that's okay. I have a Portuguese one. That's like fine. You have the VS ones all PSA 10 from Auto? That's nuts. Holy smokes, Sean. Madman. I forgot Otto had those. Dang, that's crazy. Yeah, but this card is really cool. And it's not too expensive yet. I think you can still find this card for like under $200. So that's nice. I heard that the Double Crisis cards, like completely, the Double Crisis Magma's Kyogre EX and Magma's Groudon EX and Aqua's Kyogre EX. I heard those cards just completely blew up. If you look at I remember these cards being like $100. And now look at that graph, baby. Oh yeah, that's a glow up. From February to May. Now the only one you're getting for under $100 is Damaged. But like LP, yeah, they're like $200 to $300 now. It's absolutely nuts. All right, we've got round number 2 of GLC League coming right up, folks. Let's get into it, see what we've got going on here at the shop. There is our GLC host tonight, Natalie. 21 players in the house. Round 2, we've got Crisco versus Hunter Horak. Stoked to see what these players got for us. Let's go. Not a lot of hints there from Chris's hand, but I'm going to guess it's colorless. He's got a TM Turbo Energize in his hand. Can't quite see what else he's got. Hunter won the other week with a really cool water deck featuring Quagsire and Frostmoth, which was awesome to see. Quagsire is not a Pokemon that we get to see on stream every week. It's got the Wash Out ability. As often as you like during your turn, you can move water energy from your bench Pokemon to the active. And also has a serviceable attack. Hydro Pump, dealing 60 plus 20 more times the amount of water energy attached to this Pokemon. So it can do 120 for 3, 140 for 4, and so on and so on. They're going to be hosting Gym Leader Challenge side events at this year's North American International Championships as well. So if you were headed to NAIC this year, really has never been a better time to build your first Gym Leader Challenge deck. There are leagues all over the country that support Gym Leader Challenge formats. Again, it is a grassroots fan-made format. And here we go. Round 2 is underway. Looks like Hunter is going to be playing first. And Hunter may be playing his Lost Box deck. And it looks like Hunter is indeed playing his Lost Box deck. My goodness. This is a really funny deck in Gym Leader Challenge formats. Gym Leader Challenge is a singleton format, so you can only play one of each card in your deck, except for basic energy. But the Lost Zone strategy is still a strategy that is possible to execute, even though you only have one of each card in your deck. The main hero of the Lost Zone Psychic deck is going to be the Sableye with the Lost Mine attack. You can only use this attack if you have 10 or more cards in your Lost Zone. You get to place 12 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon in any way you like. Hunter's deck is going to be playing a lot of item cards that allow him to turbo through the deck, and sending cards to the Lost Zone is not exactly easy. There are only a few ways to do it, which is one of the reasons this deck is not very popular, I would say, just because there's just not, it's not like the most consistent deck in the format, but when it pops off, it can be very tough to play against. Comfy has the flower selecting ability. This card, notorious in standard format for the last few years, just rotated out of standard format this past winter, actually. It's got the flower selecting ability, allows you to look at the top 2 cards of your deck, and you put one into your hand, put one into the Lost Zone, so gives you a little bit of draw power. Also sends cards to the Lost Zone. We see Hunter's got the art rare Comfy on his bench. We also saw a Lost Blender that Hunter played. It's an item card that makes it so that you can send 2 cards in your hand to the Lost Zone and draw 1 card from the top of the deck. So you get to draw a card, send 2 to the Lost Zone. That's how Hunter has 2 cards in the Lost Zone right now, as we can see denoted by the 2 on the dice that he's got there. Now Chris playing a dragon deck, gonna open up with the Druddigon. Druddigon is probably the best attacker in the dragon deck, the most important attacker in the dragon deck, but funny enough, not the best opener. And the reason it's not the best opener is because it's a revenge attacker. It's got the revenge attack, does 40 damage plus 120 more damage if any of your Pokemon were knocked out by damage from an attack during your opponent's last turn. So really, you want your Druddigon to kind of be the second attacker. You want to lead with something else, and then when that attacker gets knocked out, go in for a revenge for 160 damage for only 2 energy. It's great. Great for countering whatever your opponent uses to aggress against you in the match. Now, it looks like Chris is setting up well. He's got Level Ball for Gibble. Looks like Chris is playing Garchomp in his deck. Garchomp is one of the other strongest attackers in the Dragon pool. Can actually make itself invincible for a turn with the Sonic Slip ability. When you play Garchomp from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you can activate Sonic Slip, make it so that Garchomp is invincible to damage next turn. So very powerful. And then there is also the Gabites with the Dragon Call ability. Great for setting up and getting your board established. Chris is going to start things off with a Guzma and Hala. Guzma and Hala allows you to discard 2 other cards from your hand and search your deck for a tool card, special energy, and a stadium. Looks like Chris is eyeing up Parallel City. Parallel City is a defining card in Gym Leader Challenge format, very disruptive. As it limits your opponent to just a 3-card bench. So it can be really tough to play around when it is active. Oh no, Parallel, why are you so small? I need to fix my Parallel City scan. You're so small, Parallel. It's not going to cut it. Yeah, Parallel is definitely a format-defining card. And it was back when it was legal in Standard as well. Turns out limiting your opponent to a 3-card bench is very strong. Chris has got a Blend Energy on the active. Drudagon. And then is using TM Turbo Energize to juice the Regidrago with a fire and a water energy. It's a great way to end your turn on turn 1. Fantastic. And pretty much an ideal start for Chris. Guzma and Hala is one of the strongest supporters you can use on turn 1 in Gym Leader Challenge formats. Hunter's got a pretty unique ability here. On the Meowscarada, can evolve, and when he evolves Meowscarada into play, gets to search his deck for 2 supporter cards, put them into his hand. One of those, of course, is Culrus's Experiment. Culrus's Experiment is kind of the bread and butter supporter of the Lost Zone deck. Allows you to look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Send 2 to the Lost Zone, keep 3. So as we can see, Hunter is able to ramp up to 4 cards in the Lost Zone now. Still got a ways to go before he gets to the 10 that he needs. Did I say Meowscarada? I meant Meowstic, sorry. Still got a ways to go until he gets to the 10 that he needs in order to fire off an attack with Sableye. And it looks like Hunter, unfortunately, does not have a way to pivot back to his Comfy, so it's just going to have to be content passing with the Meowstic in the active spots. He is playing Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime has got the bench barrier ability. Makes it so that Chris is not going to be able to easily snipe with potentially Curum. I mean, Curum is like the scariest card to play against if you're playing this Lost Zone deck. And it's because it's got the Plasma Bane ability, which says if your opponent has any cards in their discard pile that have Colress in the name, this Pokemon can use the Trifrost attack for 1 colorless energy. And Hunter just played Colress's Experiment. So there is a Colress card in the discard, which means that Trifrost can be used for just a single colorless energy. And Trifrost is a devastating attack. You discard all energy from this Pokemon. The attack does 110 damage to 3 of your opponent's Pokemon. For reference, that would just clear Hunter's board right now if Mr. Mime did not have the bench barrier ability. In fact, if Chris was able to play a card like... it's funny, you can't even use Silent Lab, actually, to turn off bench barrier, because if you use Silent Lab, right, Silent Lab turns off all basic Pokemon's abilities, then Curum's Plasma Bane ability doesn't work either. You would have to play Canceling Cologne. You'd have to bring the Mr. Mime up into the active spot and use Canceling Cologne to turn off Mr. Mime's bench barrier ability. Then you could try Frost for win. That is not going to be happening, though, as we see. Chris actually has a very slow turn himself and has to pass it back over to Hunter. Hunter has got Versus Seeker, allowing him to recover the Colress's Experiment, and we're going to go right back for 5 more and send 2 more to the Lost Zone. We can see Hunter is starting to get there. Chris having a slow start is really advantageous for Hunter. Hunter's deck takes a little while to get rolling, and this deck really doesn't want to have its hand disrupted. It really doesn't want to have its Pokemon getting knocked out on turns 2 and 3. And if you just sit there kind of like not doing anything against the Lost Zone Psychic deck, it will become too much to handle. I mean, Sableye will just get to a point where it is being cycled every single turn, placing damage counters every single turn, and eventually the board wipe is inevitable. So even though it looks like Hunter is having kind of like a slower game, he's continuing to get cards into the lost zone every turn. And that's really all that matters on Hunter's side of the board, because he just needs to get to 10 in the lost zone as quickly as possible. Now, it would be nice if he was able to actually attack with a Pokemon that spreads damage counters. He does have the, I think there's a Mesprit that he's got in the hand that spreads 2 to everything. Like, attacking with that would be pretty nice, but it doesn't really matter. Off of the unknown farewell letter, Hunter is able to find Switch, which is really clutch because he can use Switch to pivot that Comfy into the active spots and use the flower selecting ability to send a 7th card to the lost zone. And chose to let the escape rope go. The Switch cards are very valuable, especially since you have spell tag on the Comfy. You're going to need to play Switch cards if you want to move it in and out of the active. Lost Vacuums, another key card, though, for getting cards into the lost zone. As we could see, there are just lots of cards in Hunter's deck that accelerate cards to the lost zone. So Hunter can use Lost Vacuum to get rid of Chris's Stormy Mountain Stadium and then also pitch a card from his hand to the lost zone. So now Hunter is at 8 cards in the lost zone and is even closer to attacking with Sableye. But as you can see, I mean, it's been 3 turns from Hunter, and Hunter has not launched a damaging attack yet. This is going to be Chris's 3rd turn coming up here. Hunter's deck expects to not really attack with Sableye until turn 4. That's pretty par for the course. But Chris's deck certainly wants to be attacking by turn 3. Ideally, you're attacking on turn 2. Missing the turn 2 attack is pretty tough for the Dragon deck. The Dragon deck does want to be the aggressor in this matchup. Chris absolutely has to launch an attack this turn. Now we see Chris is going for Drampa. There is a... that's not Drampa, that's Dialga. Get out of here, Dialga. There's a Drampa. Has the Berserk attack. It does 160 damage if one of your Pokemon on the bench has any damage counters on it. It's possible for the Sableye deck to just play around that completely, because you could just move damage counters where you want them to go. Drampa also notably only has 120 HP. So does Druddigon. So a lot of the main attackers in this deck just don't have a lot of HP. The beefiest ones are like your Druddigon. Not your Druddigon, your Regidrago, excuse me. Your Regidrago. Regidrago has got 130 HP. And then you've got your Garchomp's got 160 hit points. Of course, can be invincible for a turn. But that doesn't really disrupt what Hunter's trying to do, because Hunter can just at any point snipe around the Garchomp. Many decks are going to have a difficult time maneuvering around Garchomp with the Sonic Slip ability when it's in the active spots, but not Hunter's deck. Hunter's deck has pretty much complete access to the bench. Chris is going to send Tatsugiri up into the active spot. Oh my gosh, and Chris missed another attack. This is disastrous. Chris is operating way too slow here. I'm thinking that Chris just passed. That is way too slow of a start. Hunter's deck can afford to attack on turn 4, but Chris's deck can absolutely not. You would expect to be up 2 prizes at this point in the game, be a third of the way to victory. But Chris has given Hunter just all the time in the world to operate this Lost Zone strategy. Rescue Stretcher for Unknown. Farewell Letter allows Hunter to draw another card. Retreat back into Comfy. Flower Selecting again. 8 cards in the Lost Zone now. About to be 9. And now there needs to be one more card in the Lost Zone. If Hunter had sent his own spell tag to the Lost Zone, then he would be at the 10, but instead decided to get rid of Chris's Stormy Mountains. I don't necessarily agree with that play. I think it was a little bit greedy of Hunter. I think Hunter should have probably just Lost Zoned his own spell tag. Now, if Hunter doesn't attack this turn either, then I'd say we are having a very glacial game. Yep. And Hunter going to pass it right back over to Chris. And keep in mind, Hunter did decide to Lost Zone away his escape rope. That's a play I don't agree with. I think Hunter should have kept the escape rope, knowing that he was going to have to keep a premium on those switch cards. So I didn't agree with that. I also think that Hunter should have probably Lost Zoned his own spell tag. And if you do those two things, if you keep the escape rope and you Lost Zone your own spell tag, and all of a sudden you're attacking this turn. That's the difference between that's an entire turn's difference there. Which now, I mean, Hunter's deck's not attacking till turn 5, which if Hunter was playing against a deck that was putting on any pressure right now, Hunter would be drowning, which is what I see most often from the Lost Zone deck. It just takes way too much time to get to those 10 cards in the Lost Zone. I mean, Hunter's not going to be attacking till turn 5. Hunter has not placed a single damage counter on the opponent's Pokemon. But Chris is operating pretty slow right now as well. This is Chris's 5th turn. Or this is Chris's 4th turn, excuse me. Hunter just played his 4th turn. Chris has got to find a way to attack. And I still don't think he has it. This is just absolutely devastating. Does Chris really not have a way to move this Tatsugiri? I mean, he could get Garchomp to like protect his energy, but that's like a wasted Sonic Slip. In a way, just feels really bad. I mean, the floodgates are going to open up this next turn for Hunter, I would think, on turn 5. I mean, Hunter is going to finally get that Sableye into play and is finally going to have 10 cards in the Lost Zone. But you could see how hard it is to get 10 cards in the Lost Zone when you're playing a singleton deck, which is why a lot of people don't opt for this strategy. Getting 10 cards in the Lost Zone when you can't play 4 Colress Experiment in your deck is really hard. Now, Chris does decide to just evolve into Garchomp, activate Sonic Slip, and pass. So again, turn 4's no attack from either player on the 4th turn of the game. Now we're up to turn 5. Hunter finally has 10 cards in the Lost Zone. And Scoop Up Net. And there goes the spell tag that Hunter did not Lost Zone the other turn. Could have potentially saved him a turn if he had. Hunter needs a Psychic Energy. He's got 10 cards in the Lost Zone. Mew has free retreat. And Lost Mine is going to start wreaking absolute havoc on Chris's board. Hunter does have an energy in his hand. I think he's got the Mystery Energy. So he's got the attack with Sableye guaranteed. He can actually use Mew's Memory of Dawn ability to copy Sableye's Lost Mine attack. So he doesn't actually even have to put the Sableye into the active spot. He can actually just attack with Mew, Looks like Hunter's going to use Mysterious Treasure, maybe to maximize the value that he gets off of the upcoming Tulip, because Hunter is going to Tulip for a basic Psychic Energy, and he gets to get up to 3 other Psychic Pokemon or Basic Energy from his discard pile into his hand. So here comes the Tulip. Going to get the Banette back, the Unknown, Psychic Energy. And Tulip for 3 feels better than Tulip for 2. And with Farewell Letter, got Enhanced Hammer. I actually don't think the Hunter even needed to use the Farewell Letter. I think he could have just... I think it's a little greedy. You could just keep the Unknown on the bench just in case you happen to get like hand disrupted or something. Just like save it for a rainy day. Save it for when you need it. And then here is Mew. It's got the Memories of Dawn. Mew can copy Sableye Lost Mine. Hunter's going to get to place 12 damage counters onto Chris's board. If I'm Hunter, I actually prefer just knocking out the Druddigon. I really don't like that Hunter knocked out the Tatsugiri for Chris, because Chris was clearly having a hard time moving the Tatsugiri. So I would have preferred to save the Tatsugiri in the active spot and place damage counters everywhere else. But Hunter does decide to knock out the Tatsugiri. He's going to take a prize card. First prize card of the match. Still got plenty more to go here. And Chris is going to promote Garchomp. Garchomp got the Dragon Blade attack. Can do 160 damage, which is, of course, a little bit overkill for the lowly Mew from Fates Collide. I think this Mew only has 50 hit points, so Chris does not need to decimate this Mew's soul with the Dragon Blade attack, but it's what Chris has got, so I suspect that's what we're going to see. Yes, Dragon Blade, 160 damage. All right, things are moving now as we tie things up at 5-5 prize cards. Chris also has to discard the top 2 cards of his deck. Hunter's got Fog Crystal, can go find another basic energy. Used Mewtwo to stack Tulip back on top of the deck. I expect Hunter to probably save the Tulip for when the Sableye goes down so you can recover both Mew and... Well, no. Never mind. Here comes these Pokemon now. Gonna recover Mew, Psychic Energy. I was gonna say maybe you want to save the Tulip so you can get both the Sableye and the Mew back, but this is fine too. As long as Hunter has option to recover the Sableye again. Keep in mind that Mew from Fates Collide is completely useless if it doesn't have Sableye's Lost Mine to copy on the bench. So Mew can only copy attacks from basic Pokemon on the bench. Hunter going to use that Lost Mine attack to clear the Regidrago on Chris's side of the board, placing all 12 damage counters onto it. I do like ignoring the Garchomp. I think that that's fine. Garchomp is not really built to attack too many times. Keep in mind, Dragon Blade discards the top 2 cards of your deck. So if you just Dragon Blade over and over again, you will eventually mill yourself of very important resources. Chris going right back in with another Dragon Blade. Oh, thank you, Bone Crusher. Thank you so much for the sub and the 9 months. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Hopefully you're doing well. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Hannah. All right, Hunter's got another Psychic Energy and hopefully a way to recover that Sableye in the hand. Oh, it looks like maybe Hunter is going to... This is a cool play. All right, I like this. Hunter is actually foregoing the Lost Mine and is going to use Memories of Dawn to copy Mimikyu. To use Copycat. This only works, though, if you guarantee draw into, like, Dimension Valley this turn. So is Hunter just trolling here? Because Mimikyu's Copycat attack costs 2. So it's a cool idea, but you need Dimension Valley in order to pull it off. And Hunter is trolling. And this is why I really thought that Hunter should have waited to use the Tulip until his Sableye was down as well. I felt like that was sloppy. Used the Sableye to recover the Mew, but didn't have a route to recover the Sableye again. So there's been a few things here with Hunter's play that I haven't quite loved as far as the routing goes. Missing an attack here. I felt like Hunter was probably one turn behind on where his attack should have been this game. He could have been a turn faster had he made a couple of different decisions. And now missing this attack as well is just really brutal. I mean, you really want to be spreading or doing damage every single turn, especially, after turn 4. There's been a lot of game played at this point. To miss another attack is pretty bad. Now, Chris, still on the offensive, though. Got Garchomp in the active. Going to actually take the lead here. Still has to be quite careful. Chris could easily lose this game. I'm going to use Dragon Blade. Go to 3 prizes remaining. And take the lead. Now Hunter's got Shuppets and Mew in hand. Can use Raihan to accelerate an energy from the discard pile. Looks like he's going to accelerate an energy to Mimikyu, and then can go search his deck for whatever card he wants to put into his hand. Looks like he's searching out Banette. Now Banette, let's see what Banette has got going on. Banette, I think, has an ability called Puppet Mastery. Puppet Offering, excuse me. Once during your turn, you can put a supporter card from your discard pile into your hand and put this Pokemon in the Lost Zone. So Hunter is going to use Mew, Memories of Dawn ability, to copy Mimikyu. And Mimikyu, with that Copycat attack, will copy Chris's Garchomp. Dragon Blade for 160 damage. Hunter going to tie it up at 3-3. Now Chris is starting to run low on attackers at this point. Chris has got 3 prizes left to take, but only 2 attackers. And really, if Chris can just get one more attacker into play, Hunter will lose the game. I mean, that's like what we're looking at right here. I mean, Hunter's going to lose. All Chris needs is one more attacker, but I don't think he has it. I think Chris's hand is terrible. We've come all this way. You could tell because that third energy really has no business being on the Drudagon. You really want to put that energy somewhere else to start to power up a different attacker. And Chris is going to go to 2 prizes left. Hunter will use Puppet Offering on the Banette. Go get Tulip out of the discard pile. Hunter can play Tulip. At this point, I expect Hunter to get Sableye, Psychic Energy, retreat into Sableye, and use Lost Mine to knock out the Drudagon. And that way, Chris would be left with a Drampa and no damage counters on the bench. Here we go. Retreat into Mew. And then with the Mewtwo can actually just stack Tulip again. Echoing Horn can actually take out both Drampa and the Gabite, taking Hunter down to just a single prize card remaining. That Echoing Horn play was crucial. But since Hunter has Tulip available, it should just be an easy recover and win situation for Hunter now. Yeah, Echoing Horn brought the Gibble back from the discard pile so that Hunter could take an extra prize using Lost Mine to spread those damage counters. Chris is able to find Iono, but that is going to be game as Hunter stacked the Tulip the previous turn with Mewtwo, and Tulip can recover the energy that needs. Tulip can recover the energy the Hunter needs to take the win, and that is game. What a grueling match. That was not exactly a barn burner, folks. No attacks until turn 5 from both players. Turn 5. That is quite a long time to put off attacking from both sides. Chris had a slow start. Hunter had a slow start. Hunter missed a turn of attacking in the middle of the game, but eventually was able to catch back up thanks to Echoing Horn and spreading damage onto Chris's bench Pokemon in a way that made it difficult for Chris to compete. Very fun deck. There are Lost Zone Psychic variants available on Cardboard Warriors. I know definitely has them. And I actually think a version of Hunter's deck is also available on GymLeaderChallenge.com. If you go to www.gymleaderchallenge.com, and go to the Getting Started guides, the Psychic guide should have a Lost Zone Psychic build on there. Actually, we can head over to gymleaderchallenge.com and take a look now. If you're looking to get into Gym Leader Challenge formats and get started, it's definitely the best place to start, if I do say so myself, as it is my website. So I'm a little bit biased, but it's definitely the best starting place for your GLC journey. GymLeaderChallenge.com. Got all the rules for getting started, frequently asked questions answered, the ban list, and some awesome photographs taken by yours truly. Come on, the artwork looks great, doesn't it? Anyways, you got the Getting Started guide over here. You can go to Psychic, and look at that. Beautiful Sabrina's suggestion full art. You really get the theme, right, of each type with the headers. I loved making those. Those were so much fun. And then for some reason, my internet's acting like a potato, but, you know, things will load here. You got Dust Buddies. You got Buddy Catch. Ability Lock. And then Lost Zone right here. And Lost Zone psychic build and gym leader challenge formats. It did seem like Hunter was really skimping on some of the recovery options. He had like Tulip. I didn't see like Rescue Carrier come out that game. It felt like he was really scraping for like the recovery cards that he needed there coming down the line. It was like very heavily relying on Tulip every single turn. But when you need to recover the same exact attacker, turn after turn, that kind of thing can happen. I would think that maybe like a Night Stretcher would be good in here so that you can instantly recover a Sableye or Psychic Energy, because recovering the Psychic Energy has also been quite good. But yeah, this is the general gist of it. You've got Banette with the Puppet Offering ability, can put a supporter from your discard pile back into your hand. It's good for reusing the Colress's Experiment. You've got the Mewtwo, which can Mind Report, put the Colress's Experiment back on top of your deck so that you can reuse Colress's Experiment over and over. I like Silene in here. Honestly, I would want to see Silene and Clara too. I think I didn't see Hunter using Clara that game, but it feels like you do want Tulip and Clara in the deck. So yeah, that's a really cool deck for sure. Lots of cool decks though here on the Gym Leader Challenge websites. God, love this banner too. I can't wait to add my Blaziken Fire deck to the mix. The new Blaziken from the Destined Rival set. Just seems like it's going to be so much fun. I pulled one today in my opening, so I really want the art rare though. The art rare is just like gorgeous. I don't know why the internet is acting up, but sometimes it'd be like that. Here's Blaziken. Yeah, Blaziken's got the Inferno Legs attack. Discard 2 energies from this Pokemon. 120 damage to the active, 120 damage to the bench. It is just such a strong effect in Gym Leader Challenge formats, giving you the ability to knock out 2 different threats at the same time. So strong that a card with the exact same effect actually ended up getting banned from the format. And there's a very short ban list for Gym Leader Challenge. I think it's in all of the cards printed from Black and White onward. I think it's 10 cards. You want to play the Blaziken to the 3K? All right, Tony. Well, let's go. Let's see the ban lists. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 cards on the ban list. It was 10 until Double Colorless and Twin Energy got bopped about a month ago. But yeah, only 12 cards on the ban list, and I mean you can play cards all the way back to 2010's Black and White set. So I mean that's like that's like 15 years worth of cards. So 2011, excuse me. It came out in 2000. It came out in 2010 in Japan, I think. Right? Black and White expansion. Japanese. December 17th, 2010. Eat it. That's right. 2010. So yeah. You can play cards. That's like almost 15 years worth of cards you can play with. And there's 12 on the ban list, so really easy to wrap your head around. And what makes it even easier is if you're just trying to get into Gym Leader Challenge format for the first time, you could just focus on your favorite type. If your favorite type is grass, then all you have to do is learn the best grass cards, right? You don't really have to like learn the entire depth of the Gym Leader Challenge card pool. You could just focus on the grass Pokemon that you like and go from there. And before you know it, you'll have every deck built. Now, I was working on my Blaziken deck list. I got to find my Blaziken list. I've got it around here somewhere. I think I had it on Discord. But the Blaziken deck is like, I'm finally very excited to be playing Fire in Gym Leader Challenge format. Fire is a deck that it's crazy because it's got so many pieces. It's got so much potential. But then the pieces just don't all fit together in the way that you would expect them to. Tony wants to know, can we make the deck work without Charizard? Yes, Charizard is a crutch. You don't need that guy. You don't need Charizard. You've got things like counter energy, reversal energy. You've got burning energy, which goes back. You got counter gain. You got like a whole bunch of stuff that you can use. So many, really. All right, this is the list that I was. This was the list that I originally worked with, but then I cut the Lost City. I think the Lost City is like kind of trolling. And I wanted Muscle Band in here. But the general idea of the deck is that you're using Blaziken, Ninetales, and N-Star Manitan to just like spread damage, take out multiple attackers at the same time. And then Chi-Yu kind of is your cleanup guy. And then you've got Crisis Punch because there's this, the Torchic. That's the cool thing about this deck is like, Blaziken is good, right? But Torchic is kind of crazy, right? Because Torchic has this trait, and they don't really print these traits anymore. They did it during like Primal Clash, and was it literally just Primal Clash? No, because there's Roaring Skies too. So I think for 2 sets, they printed these traits. The Omega Barrage trait. This Pokemon may attack twice. Was it 3 sets? It might have also been Ancient Origins. Might have been 3 sets. I think it's like 2 or 3 sets. Typical, Pokemon gimmick. They print it for a couple sets, never do it again. So like, the Torchic has got the Omega Barrage. It can attack twice. That is not notable because its attacks are Flare bonus, discard a fire, draw 2, or Claw, flip a coin. If tails, it does nothing. Those attacks are not very good. But with the technical machines, you can actually give Torchic a good attack, right? Crisis Punch, 280 damage. All right, I've got Alexander Holtz here in the chat saying, it's insane you describe the Lost City as cope, but I'm talking myself into Crisis Punch being playable. All right, here's the difference. Lost City, that is a Psychic archetype. And Psychic is one of the strongest card pools in Gym Leader Challenge format with tons of incredible options that are all very successful. Lost Zone is like not one of the most successful strategies that Psychic has available to it. Fire, however, okay, is an archetype that has struggled immensely over Gym Leader Challenge's existence, and Torchic and Blaziken are legitimately 2 of the strongest cards that the Fire pool has, for sure. With Crisis Punch, dude, you put Crisis Punch on your Torchic, That's 280 damage twice. Just got a couple of things that got to go your way. Your opponent's got to have just one prize card remaining. But like if you check that box, you're good to go. You could also do Torchic with TM Evolution. You could evolve stage 2 straight up into straight up into stage 2s. Or you could TM Turbo Energize, accelerate a bunch of energy into play. The one that I like the most is Crisis Punch. I think this card's good. And I think this card is fine in the Blaziken deck because you don't even have to put it on Torchic. You could just Crisis Punch with anybody for game. Is like a thing, right? Like if you just need to do a lot of damage, you could just do 280 and win with this card in your deck. I think it's at least worth considering in the Fire deck, especially because this version of the Fire deck that I have built has like a very serious damage cap because you don't have any attackers that like clear that 200 mark, right? So having access to the TM Turbo or TM Crisis Punch gives you a way to clear that. All right, folks, getting right into round number 3. Let's go. Full Grip Games GLC League Nights. Let's see what these players have got in store for us. We've got Michael Zealy versus John Patterson. Full Grip Games own Michael Zealy on the right. John Patterson on the left. Zealy is an employee here at Full Grip Games. If you attend our standard league nights, you may recognize him as one of the judges that often runs standard league. And again, folks, we have a very strong battle of the mustaches. John Patterson, known for his fierce mustache, but then Michael Zealy has also got a darker, bushier stash. Very much looking forward to our stash off that we have coming up in round 3. May the superior stash be victorious. This matchup is going to be Water versus Psychic. Take it John Patterson probably playing the Water deck. That is one of his tried and true favorites, but we'll have to see. And we're going to get probably a different look at Psychic if I had to guess. Lost Zone Psychic, again, is not the most popular version of Psychic. Usually with Psychic builds, we're seeing Malamar, Psychic Recharge. We're seeing Iron Boulder. All right, round number 3 is underway. Let's go. Michael Zealy going to be piloting Psychic against John Patterson with Water, and holy Fion, look at that. Cosmic Eclipse. Michael wasting no time getting started with the Buddy Poffin. Look at that. And this is looking like it is going to be a more standard Psychic build, and with a Nest Ball to boot. This is an incredible pop-off start from Michael. Getting all of his basic Pokemon set up. And there are some really strong abilities that Michael is going to start having access to as early as the second turn of the game. Ralts evolves into Kirlia. Kirlia's got the Refinement ability. Discard a card from your hand. Draw 2 cards. This card was a mainstay in standard format before it rotated out this year. And is still getting a lot of life here in Gym Leader Challenge format. Kirlia then can evolve into Gallade. Gallade is usually the most popular choice for Kirlia's evolution. You also have access to Gardevoir, and there are plenty of very strong Gardevoir available in Gym Leader Challenge, but Gallade has versatility on its side. It's got the Buddy Catch ability, which allows you to search your deck for a supporter card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. So you can hand pick exactly what supporter card you want every turn in the match, which is especially strong when the format is a singleton format. I mean, you can only play one of each card except basic energy in your deck. So being able to go and search out exactly what supporter card you want every turn of the game is very strong. And then with Kirlia's draw power, I mean, this is just one of the most premier evolution lines in Gym Leader Challenge format, since both the Stage 1 and the Stage 2 have powerful abilities. We also see Zealy is taking time to set up both Natu and Inkay. Inkay evolves into Malamar with the Psychic Recharge ability. Allows you to attach a basic Psychic Energy from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon during your turn. Very good for charging up attackers turn after turn. Getting that energy recursion, absolutely incredible. And then paired with that, we've got Xatu with the Clairvoyant Sense ability, evolves from Natu, which Zealy has on the bench. Clairvoyant Sense allows you to attach a Psychic Energy card from your hand to one of your bench Pokemon, and then you draw 2 cards. Very strong and intimidating start from Michael there. A lot of times when you're going first, the downside is that you can't play a supporter card to help you go search for those cards that help you find basics. I mean, really, it's tougher to find the cards you need to set up if you're going first, because you cannot play a supporter if you go first on your first turn. So oftentimes players will choose to go second in Gym Leader Challenge format. But Michael, if you open Buddy Buddy Poffin, Fog Crystal, and Nest Ball in your opening hand going first, then going first is just purely advantageous, because that is pretty much the ideal opening hand. If you could stack your opening hand, you'd want it to look exactly like that. John having a pretty solid start himself, though, as we see. He's got Birdkeeper into Basculin turn 1, and Basculin, it's like a built-in Buddy Buddy Poffin. Well, John also draws the Buddy Buddy Poffin. So both of these players opening their one of Buddy Buddy Poffin in this game and kind of popping off with the setup. And that's what we love to see. Honestly, if I could have every match, both players pop off and set up their decks perfectly, that would be phenomenal. Buddy Buddy Poffin can allow John to go get Timpole and Snorunt, and then Hisuian Basculin in the active has the Gather the Crew attack. It's a free attack. Allows you to go and search your deck for 2 basic Pokemon, put them straight onto the bench. We see John has gone for Sobble and Remoraid. And so John has got a full bench. The Fion is a real neat card there. It's got the Whirlpool Suction ability, which allows you to put the Fion on the bottom of your deck, and then if you do, you can push your opponent's active Pokemon to the bench. So kind of like Iron Bundle in current standard format, but instead of discarding the Fion, you put it to the bottom of your deck. So you actually get way more value than you would otherwise. It looks like Zealy's going to use Kirlia. That Kirlia has the Refinement ability, discard Arven, draw 2. We've got a Recycle Energy on Giratina on the bench. Giratina is another very popular attacker in the Psychic builds. Shadow Impact does 130 damage at the cost of placing 4 damage counters on one of your opponents, on one of your Pokemon. And then Michael Zealy flexing the Full Art N. What a gorgeous card. Absolutely love that. Full RN. N is just one of those forever cards. Will be good as long as the card is around in Gym Leader Challenge format. Both players shuffle their hands into their deck and draw number of cards equal to the number of their remaining prize cards. So it's a great opening card as it's a hand refresher. As we see Zealy going for the hand refresher right now with a shuffle draw 6. But at the end of the game, it is a powerful hand disruptor, as if your opponent only has 1 or 2 prize cards remaining, you can set them to a low hand size of 1 or 2 and attempt to mount a comeback. Zealy finds a level ball, can use level ball to go search out Mimikyu. And then we'll get an energy attachment to Mewtwo. Mewtwo is kind of a funny Pokemon to have in the active right now. Its limit break attack gets stronger as the game goes on. Does 90 damage plus 90 more damage if your opponent has 3 or fewer prize cards remaining. So it's kind of an attacker you really just whip out in the back half of the game to kind of sweep up and just do 180 very easily. But its Psy Pump attack can be useful. You get to attach up to 2 Psychic Energy cards from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon. So very good for powering up Pokemon. However, you have to have Psychic Energy in the discard pile in order to utilize that. So we see Michael getting an energy onto Mewtwo, but not really able to go anywhere here on turn 2. Still taking great strides towards setting up, though, as we see that Malamar and Kirlia are both established on the bench. Giratina and Mewtwo both have energy on them. I would expect Michael to probably land an attack this next turn on turn 3 going first. Psychic is a deck that can be slower to get going, but I would expect most Psychic builds to be attacking by turn 3. It's not a turn 1 attacking deck, and it's usually you can attack on turn 2, but you got to be kind of moving, I would say. Water is also more of a setup deck. You can attack on turn 2, but you kind of have to be popping off in order to do so. Turn 3 is usually where you're set up and starting to trade. And we see John has actually got a very substantial setup with Irida turn 2. Irida is pretty much the perfect supporter to play early on in the match. One of the strongest supporter cards that Water has access to. And it's not just that Irida is like a very good card, because Irida is pretty good. I mean, it's fine. It's not like broken or anything. I mean, Fighting has Karina, which is the same thing, and that's like a fine card. But what makes Irida so dang good in Water as opposed to Fighting? Because like Karina sees play in Fighting, Irida sees play in Water. They both see play. But Irida is the better card, even though they're effectively the same exact card. And the reason why Irida is better than Karina is because of the abilities that it can activate, right? So Irida, you could go get a water Pokemon. When you go get a water Pokemon, you could do some broken stuff, right? Like you could use Shady Dealings. Shady Dealings can go get you whatever trainer card you want out of the deck. That's, off a water Pokemon. So you could use Irida to go search out Drizzile. You could use Irida to go search out Octillery. Basically, Irida can turn into whatever you want when you're playing Water because of Shady Dealings, which is incredibly powerful. We see John was able to draw first blood here in the match thanks to Frostlass. Frostlass getting in there. It's got an attack. Allows you to place up to 7 damage counters on itself. And it does 20 damage times the amount of damage counters that you place on it. So 140 damage, turn 2 from John. Very substantial attack. Frostlass from Unified Minds. Take a look at that card. The Spiteful Sigh attack. And that's the idea of John's deck. John is using water type attackers that are low to the ground and have low energy cost. Frostlass getting that turn 2 attacks really helped to set the pace of the game. And foil that with how slow the decks were to get operating last game that we watched. You can see a turn 2 attack is really substantial in Gym Leader Challenge format. A lot of times players are still setting up during that time. Michael's got a Raihan though, and with Raihan he can really piece together everything he needs to get moving. And I really like this play from Michael. Taking advantage of Raihan to go get the U-turn board out of his deck. U-turn board is going to give his active Pokemon free retreats while also accelerating an energy into play. And then, since Frostlass has 7 damage counters on it, right? It actually powers up Wobbuffet. And Zealy sees this line, of course. Longtime player of the Pokemon TCG. And a Worlds competitor as well. Sees this line. And this is a powerful line. This is a no-nonsense play right here from Michael. This is a dominant line. Attacking with Wobbuffet to knock out the Frostlass is amazing. Wobbuffet's Psychic Assault attack does 10 damage plus 10 more damage for each damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon. So with 7 damage counters, it's actually doing 80 damage to knock out the Frostlass, even though only 10 was needed. More importantly, Wobbuffet has the Bide Barricade ability. Bide Barricade says, as long as this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, each Pokemon in play, in each player's hand, and in each player's discard pile has no abilities except for Psychic Pokemon. So effectively, Michael's Wobbuffet is shutting down John's entire engine. John cannot use any of those powerful water type abilities that I just mentioned the previous turn. All the abilities that make cards like Irida so good and valuable are shut down. Most notably, Shady Dealings. That's the big one. With Drizzile in play, you could get a Shady Dealings going, but John doesn't need it. He's got Teammates in hand. He's actually able to use Teammates to go set up the main attacker in his deck, Seismitoad. And this Seismitoad is a real treat. Let's take a look at it. John absolutely loves playing the Seismitoad. It's one of his favorite decks. Seismitoad has 170 hit points and the Echoed Voice attack, which does 120 damage for just 2 water energy. And during your next turn, Echoed Voice does 100 more damage. So the first time you use Echoed Voice, it does 120 damage. The second time you use Echoed Voice, it does 220 damage. For just 2 energy, that's absurd. That is very strong energy to damage output ratio. That is an incredible ratio. But that's not all. Seismitoad also has the Quaking Zone ability, which says as long as this Pokemon is in the active spot, attacks used by your opponent's active Pokemon cost 1 colorless less. Excuse me. As long as this Pokemon is in the active spot, attacks used by your opponent's active Pokemon cost 1 colorless more. Less would be good for them. No, it makes them cost 1 energy more. So Michael's attacks are harder to use with Seismitoad in the active spot. If Michael were trying to use an attack that cost 3 energy, it would cost 4 energy. If Michael were trying to use an attack that cost 2 energy, it would cost 3 energy. Now, what's funny is if Michael can actually find Dimension Valley, then this effect could be completely offset, because Dimension Valley is a stadium card that Psychic decks have access to. It makes it so that Psychic Pokemon's attacks cost 1 colorless less. So if you can actually get Dimension Valley online, then you can completely negate Seismitoad's ability. And I am thinking that Michael has got to find a way to neutralize this Seismitoad this turn, because if this Seismitoad starts running away doing 220 damage every turn, Michael's going to be in a world of hurt. That is just a lot of damage to deal with every single turn. I mean, 220 damage, almost one hit KOs everything in the format. Looks like Michael is working on getting this Latios going. Latios can clear the Seismitoad. It's possible. Latios can do 180 damage with its Luster Purge attack. But again, Michael's got to look out for that Seismitoad's ability, so has to find a way to get through this thing. And we see Michael has already used Malamar, has already used Xatu. If he plays a counter energy could do it. If he finds Psychic Energy and Dimension Valley, that would do it. But it looks like he misses the attack this turn. I see Professor's Letter, which would get the energy that he needs in order to attack. And right now, that Seismitoad's ability is everything. It is the difference between an attack and a pass, because Michael has got a fully loaded Latios with Luster Purge. I mean, Luster Purge, 180 damage. We saw Malamar, Psychic Recharge. We saw Xatu, Clairvoyant Sense. Attach from hand would be the third energy needed in order to attack. But Quaking Zone is coming in clutch. Michael's able to find Gallade and evolves into Gallade, but this is really tough for Michael. Getting blocked off by the Seismitoad Quaking Zone. I like his decision to attach to the Gallade here. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. And then it looks like John was able to use Fion Whirlpool Suction to push up a different attacker. And that's a really tough situation for Michael to be in. Michael could have sacked maybe the Malamar or the Xatu. Instead, is going to push up the Latios with 2 energy on it. That's a really tough sacrifice. Because the Latios is so close to knocking out the Seismitoad. I really don't want to see this Latios get sacked. The Latios seemed like the ticket to knock out Seismitoad. Gallade is 10 damage short of knocking out Seismitoad. I understand Zeely's hesitation to sacrifice an evolved Pokemon like Malamar or Xatu, but it's just really tough. Oh, and then is actually going to use Boss to target down Gallade instead of Latios. And Gallade is a real tough pill to swallow. That is brutal. John, 220 damage, echoed voice to Zeely's Gallade, going up 2 prizes now. And now Michael left scrambling without his Gallade crutch. That buddy catch ability is just so good for consistency. Let's see what Michael's gonna do to respond. Psychic Recharge can put an energy onto Latios. I do think that it's possible that Michael would have been in a worse position if the Latios went down, but I definitely respect the decision to knock out the Gallade. It's kind of like you take the knees out from underneath him. Now Zeely, unfortunately, unable to find the 4th energy to attack with Latios against Seismitoad, so has to use Guzma to push around Seismitoad and use Luster Purge to take out Octillery. So Zeely in some ways saying, all right, if you take out my support Pokemon, I'll take out your support Pokemon. Both players missing those crucial support Pokemon now. John still has Drizzile on the bench, though. Could evolve that up into Inteleon. It's got Versus Seeker in hand as well. And it's feeling like now it's John's game to lose. Latios only has 110 hit points as well, so pushing the Seismitoad to the bench didn't really even do anything, which feels horrible if you're Michael. Because a lot of times resetting Echoed Voice can push that attack out of range. Oh my goodness. And John just going for blood. Versus Seeker Boss's orders. Echoed Voice to knock out Malamar. And Michael's board is just getting picked apart over here. Michael does find Versus Seeker off the top of the deck. Could be valuable. Also has Iron Boulder. Iron Boulder can take this knockout. It does do 170 damage, but you need a couple of things. You need to match hand sizes, and you need an extra energy. And that is the power of Seismitoad, is once you kind of get to that point where you've overwhelmed your opponent's board, when you get to that point where it's like Seismitoad is just past that tipping point now. Because if you disrupt your opponent's board enough, then it becomes almost impossible for the opponent to actually attack through Seismitoad's ability, right? Like Quaking Zone is just going to make it so like Zeely could probably get 2 energy onto the boulder this turn, but 3 is like dang near impossible. Unless counter energy is a thing. And counter energy is here, folks. My God, I think he may have done it. Counter energy would be the exact card Michael needs to get a 3 energy attack launched with Boulder. The question is, can he match hand size? Clairvoyant Sense. Oh, I think, did Michael already attach this recycle energy? I think he did. No. He did not. Okay. But he's trying to figure out, can he match hand sizes? He's got Earthen Vessel, so he should be able to. Earthen Vessel, discard Escape Rope. And this boulder is going in with 3 energy, adjusted horn, 170 damage. This is exact math to knock out Seismitoad. And here we go, matched hand size of 2, just like that. And Iron Boulder takes a knockout, and what looked like an unwinnable board stay for Michael has turned into a game after all, with Michael just trailing by 1 prize now. John gonna rip a Professor's Research, discard the hand, draw 7 cards, finds Aqua Patch. Does he find a way to get Palafin into play? Palafin would be the ace here. Palafin is an incredibly powerful attacker. It's got the Justice Kick attack, which does 210 damage for 2 water energy, but you have to move from the bench to the active spot in order to activate the attack. Now that is easily doable since Cast Form in the active spot has free retreat. So Zelia could easily pivot into Palafin and launch a huge Justice Kick. But I don't think that John drew into an out to Palafin, or else he probably would have slammed it. So I think John is kind of conceding that it might not be a knockout this turn. And this Boulder might go unanswered. Boulder does have a hefty 140 hit points, so this Basculegion is not going to be able to take the knockout. Basculegion has a revenge style attack, does 120 damage if one of your Pokemon was knocked out the previous turn. Super Rod. Chuck some energy and Pokemon back into the deck. We see John really mulling this one over. Gonna put the Frostlass and a water energy back in. Frostlass is a nice attacker to have because of how easy it is to get going. Just need a single water energy, and it could help John negotiate one of those final 2 prize cards that he so desperately needs to take. And I'm thinking that John is going to actually go for the evolution attack this turn, which just allows him to go search for Palafin. Maybe John puts the stadium into play as well. Yep. Makes it so that basic Pokemon need an extra energy in order to... I actually want to see him play the Scoop Up Net as well. Yep, that's fine. And then here we go. Palafin has got a 1 energy attack that allows you to search your deck for a card that evolves from Palafin and put it onto... or Finizen, excuse me. The Finizen has an attack, 1 energy attack, allows you to search your deck for a Palafin, put it on a Finizen. So that's what we see. Got the nice art rare Palafin there on John's bench, and it switches to the bench when it uses the attack. Snorunt getting the promote. The attack doesn't do any damage though, and John does put out a Pokemon League headquarters, which is a stadium that makes it so that basic Pokemon's attacks cost, you guessed it, 1 energy more. Michael does have a quick answer to that Pokemon League headquarters though, as we see Parallel City is in his hand. John has a 1-card hand, though, so in order to attack with Iron Boulder, Zelia would need to match hand sizes again. That means going down to a single card hand. Can he do that? Parallel City is a good start. Tulip allows Michael to get up to any combination of 4 Psychic Pokemon and 4 Psychic Energy from the discard pile to hand. So Michael doesn't have a risk of overloading his hand with Tulip. It's just a playable card. And as we see, he's just going to get playables out of his hand. So he's not going to like get a stage 1 that he can't put into play yet. He's just going to go get 2 basic Pokemon, which he can put into play instantly, and then probably an energy to attach, right? And I like this. And then you also have to play Rescue Stretcher. But you can play Rescue Stretcher to shuffle the guys back into the deck. That's fine. So it doesn't really matter. And then he'll be left with just Ultra Ball in hand. So that's the grab off of Tulip. Bench, attach energy. But you don't want to like Clairvoyant Sense, right? Because then you draw 2 and you don't know if they're going to be playables, right? So you can't afford to Clairvoyant Sense. And this is a really grindy position for Zealy to be in. He's got the Rescue Stretcher. He can put up to 3 Pokemon from his discard pile back into the deck. It's actually not up to. You have to put, if you've got 3, you got to put all 3. And then he's got the Psychic Energy. Yep, so Zealy realizing he can't just do 1, actually has to do 3. All of the newer cards that Pokemon designs have like an up to clause on them, but the old cards, like Rescue Stretcher, do not have that clause. Now, Zealy is kind of going into this turn saying, I don't know what my top deck's going to be. I don't have a draw plan. Right? Has to match a 1-card hand size. I mean, that is just brutal, right? But I think you kind of have to go for it, attach to Mimikyu, and say, adjusted horn, what's the prize card? What's my top deck? Now, Zealy has put himself in a pretty decent spot here by attaching to Mimikyu, because Mimikyu has that copycat attack, and all Michael will need is a single energy in order to copy Palafin's Justice Kick. Now we've got a tie game. This game has really tightened up. Just 5 minutes left on the clock. This is an exciting match for sure. A lot of back and forth action here. This is a great game. John with just a single card in hand. What can he do? He's got the Shady Dealings. So that's what he's using right now. He's using Drizzyle's Shady Dealings ability. He used Scoop Up Net the turn previous so that he could activate Shady Dealings this turn. The Basque Legion has an EXP share on it, and a retreat cost of 2. So if John wants to launch an attack this turn, he's probably going to have to utilize a switching supporter card, as we see him doing right here with Guzma. And it looks like John may just barely be falling off the rails, but he is so close. Keep in mind, Basque Legion has a 1 energy revenge attack that does 120 damage. So he's got a way to poke. But Iron Boulder has 140 hit points, so Basculegion does not knock out Iron Boulder. And John's one-card hand is Inteleon. Oh my god. So if Zealy... Oh man. John may have what he needs to actually win. With Inteleon in hand, he could get whatever 2 trainer cards he wants out of his deck next turn. Zealy needs to find a way to match hand sizes, take a knockout. Is it just U-turn board, mystery energy, attack? Can you even afford to play Cynthia and Caitlyn? You could play Cynthia and Caitlyn to get a different supporter pack without discarding. That's something that Cynthia and Caitlyn can do. I know it's not an often used effect of the supporter, but you don't actually have to discard. If you discard with Cynthia and Caitlyn, you get to draw 3. But you could just play Cynthia and Caitlyn to retrieve a supporter card. And does Michael see the... I would like to see Michael swap the Cynthia and Caitlyn for something else. But he might not be thinking that. Yes, so I would have really liked to see Michael use Cynthia and Caitlyn to go get a different supporter this turn. You don't have to draw cards with Cynthia and Caitlyn. That is a easy thing to miss because it's not something that happens all the time. But let's see, what does John have? Shady Dealings. Inteleon. You never want to see Shady Dealings coming down when the game is on the line. This card gets you any 2 trainer cards you want out of the deck. But keep in mind, John has to get around not just Iron Boulder. There's also Giratina on the bench. Giratina has 130 hit points. So Basculegion and Inteleon are both 10 damage short of knocking out Giratina and 20 damage short of knocking out the Iron Boulder in the active spot. This is a 1-to-1 prize game. So John is trying to figure out Muscle Band Raihan should do that, should just do it. With Muscle Band in deck, that should be game. Raihan, accelerate the energy from the discard pile to Inteleon. Raihan can allow you to search your deck for any card you want. Second energy, Inteleon, Aqua Bullet, 140 damage. Perfect math. Right on the buzzer with 10 seconds to go. And John Patterson is your round 3 winner. What an exciting match between these two players. That was a great game by both players. Really well done. Awesome to see Michael claw back into that game from a point that looked like it was just the point of no return. Michael found a way to claw back and brought that down to a 1-to-1 prize game, as close as it gets, folks, with both players operating out of small hand sizes. Well played by both players. John will advance to 3-0. Well, Michael falls to 2-1. Michael will still have a shot at some store credit if he can finish in the top 4. Let's take a look at John's league card. John has 2 badges so far this season, both colorless and psychic. Looking to add a 3rd type to his badge card with his Palafin water deck. He's been working on it for weeks. And now he is over halfway there. 2 more wins. John will have that water badge that has eluded him so far. Got a match wrapping up here between Hunter and Alec. Huge thank you to Hannah over there in the Twitch chat with the 5 gifted subs. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Hannah. If you haven't already, make sure to check out the Dark Magneton playmats over on trickygym.com. Hannah designs them. They look incredible. Yeah, thank you, Hannah, for the continued support. Hopefully you and the family are doing well. I appreciate you, and thank you so much for those 5 gifted subs. Some great games here tonight so far. 21 players in attendance for our weekly Gym Leader Challenge League night. That is just an awesome turnout on a Thursday night. Of course, the event taking place in our newly renovated tournament hall here at Full Grip Games, where we are going to be hosting the Destined Rivals $6,000 cash doubleheader in just over a week. Not this weekend, but the following weekend. We've got over 100 players signed up for Standard so far, chasing down that $3,000, chasing down a piece of that $3,000 cash prize pool that's up for grabs for top 8 finishers. And I believe we have close to around 100 Gym Leader Challenge players signed up as well. We're also going to be competing for a piece of $3,000 for those top 8 finishers. Each winner will get a grand $1,000, 1,000 crispy dollars for their pockets. Again, that is going to be the largest Gym Leader Challenge prize pool that has ever been offered for a tournament. Gym Leader Challenge is a fan-made grassroots format. It was created in like 2021 or something. 2022? 2021? I think it was 2021. I don't know. I made it. I should freaking know this, all right? I did make the format. I should know what year I made it, but it was one of those years. Like the pandemic, it was made during the pandemic. Forgive me for not knowing which year in the pandemic, because like they blurred together, all right, guys? They blurred. Didn't they? Yeah, they did. 2021. I felt like it was 2021. It was about a year into the pandemic and boredom was peak. That's when Gym Leader Challenge was created. We got Hunter's Lost Zone deck. All right, can Hunter redeem his glacial Lost Zone performance that we saw last round? What do you guys think? Will Hunter attack before turn 5? John's deck did set up pretty quickly. I do think that I think if John sets up Seismitoad, it's lights out. I don't think that Hunter stands a chance against Seismitoad. Hunter's entire deck is built to attack for 1 energy. John's deck is built to make it so that Hunter needs 2 energy to attack. That should put John in the driver's seat for this match, I would think. But we'll see. We shall see. Hunter really going to make me have to go download all the crazy Lost Zone cards to put onto my overlay. I still got to find time to work on that, but I'm working on the latest Tricky Hideout video, and I'm really trying to get that out before the week's over. So that's like my big priority right now. It's a funny one. I'm excited about it. Oh no, John is in the mulligan trenches right now. It's going to give Hunter a few extra cards to start off the game. And John finally finds a basic. And there we go. Round number 4 is underway. We have got Hunter with his Lost Zone Psychic build. Turn 1 red card. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Unbelievable. And you can see the frustration as John slams his hand down onto the deck. Unreal. Turn 1 red card, folks. That is just nasty. With the Comfy open, this is as good as it gets. This is as good as it gets for Hunter. Absolutely as good as it gets. For those of you that are unfamiliar, red card is an item card that makes it so your opponent shuffles their hand into their deck and draws just 4 cards. So obviously a very disruptive card to play on the first turn of the game. However, Gym Leader Challenge is a singleton format. That means you can only play 1 of each card in your deck. That means Hunter just sacked into opening the 1 of red card while also opening his optimal starter with the Comfy. And John, just like that, is set to just 4 cards in hand before he even has a chance to draw his card for turn. And John, like a boss, opens with Ball Guy. Ball Guy, probably the best supporter card you could open in his deck. Ball Guy, a very funny card in Gym Leader Challenge format, allows you to search your deck for up to 3 balls and put them into your hands, which is great for setting up. So that was the dangerous thing, is that it was looking like with a turn 1 red card, maybe John would not be able to set up very well, but the deck doesn't need a whole lot. With Ball Guy, you can really get things going. And if John can just set up the Seismitoad that he needs, or set up the Seismitoad that evolves from his active Timpole, he's going to be cooking. Seismitoad is nuts that Quaking Zone ability, I think Hunter kind of just instantly loses if John starts swinging with this. Echoed Voice is going to one-tap everything in Hunter's deck. Hunter, I don't even know that Hunter can get 2 energy onto a Pokemon, and even if he does get 2 energy onto a Pokemon, it's not like any of his Pokemon deal 170 damage. Even doing the Mimikyu cheese like we saw last time Hunter was on, where he used Mimikyu to copy Garchomp's attack for 160 damage, Mimikyu would only do 120 damage. This attack doesn't really start rolling until the following turn. So the Mimikyu cheese isn't going to work either. Seismitoad is just a beast in this matchup, and the thing about this matchup is, I mean, last game Hunter was on stream, Hunter did not start attacking until turn 5. 5 turns is a lot of time in Gym Leader Challenge 4. That's a lot of time in any trading card game, really. 5 turns, if you're not doing anything for 5 turns, that is a lot of time. So John has got time where that Tim pole is not really going to be under fire. And we see John is actually going for kind of an offensive play here with the Fion. Never mind. I thought John was going to use Fion to push the Comfey out of the active to try and slow Hunter down, but it looks like John's actually going to just attack with the Timpole instead, do 10 damage. That's fine. I assumed that with Fion down that maybe we were going to see some disruption there, but not the case. Instead, we're back in flower selecting land. Comfey leading the charge. Hex Maniac getting played. A supporter card that makes it so that all abilities are turned off until the end of your opponent's next turn. So that means no shady dealings for John. But John doesn't need it. John has got Irida and top decks the rare candy. Oh my God. This is a turn 2 Seismitoad. Even with the red card, this is nuts. John has got the absolute stones in his hand. Top decks the rare candy, can turn this Timpole straight into Seismitoad. Irida gonna go get Seismitoad and Capacious Bucket, and just like that, Hunter is ruined. Absolutely ruined from this point. The pot helmet to boot. This Seismitoad is going to be a disaster for Hunter to deal with. Hunter's Comfey does have a spell tag on it. Spell tag will place 4 damage counters on one of John's Pokemon, but John does not care. Even with 4 damage counters on it, this Seismitoad will still have 130 HP, which is going to be way too much for Hunter to deal with. John takes the first prize of the game. That is a turn 2 Seismitoad enabled by Irida. And Hunter is on the ropes, desperately looking for something to get going with this flower selecting. Recovers the Comfey, flower selecting, but John has got exactly what he needs with Seismitoad up and rolling as quick as possible. This is a crazy start for John. He doesn't have anything else going on this board, which is almost ideal because it means that John doesn't have any weak Pokemon for Hunter to pick off and take prizes on. Inevitably, Hunter will have to deal with this Seismitoad. And can he do it before the clock runs out? Because now John has put Hunter on a serious clock. Remember, last time Hunter was on stream, he didn't attack until turn 5. John is already out here swinging for 120 damage on turn 2. So if Hunter goes at the same pace that he went last time he was on stream, he's going to be at a 4 prize deficit before he launches a single attack. Let me see. Hunter is playing Colress's Experiment, so he is going to get to shuttle some more cards to the Lost Zone. Gets to keep 3, 2 to the Lost Zone. He's up to 5. He's halfway there. U-turn board on the Comfy. And a Horror Psychic Energy. Okay, this could be big. Horror Psychic Energy. Counter Catcher to try and slow John down. This could be big with the Horror Psychic Energy on the Comfy. It could actually fix some math for Hunter. The Horror Psychic Energy makes it so that if the Comfy takes any damage, it'll place 2 damage counters onto John's attacking Pokemon. But Hunter going to retreat to the Meowstick. Wait, what's going on here? Wait. What just occurred? Hunter did not just take back a retreat, bro. That better not. That better not be what have just occurred. But anyways, I guess Comfy's in the active now. Hunter, how is the Comfy in the active? Didn't you retreat, bro?
I retreated to Esper at the beginning of the turn, so I wasn't able to retreat.
Oh, okay. You had already retreated. Got it. Thanks. All right, cool. So he actually undid his double retreat. He had already retreated the turn, so he was not allowed to retreat. Okay, got it. Great. Thanks for the clarification. John has got Drizzile and is using Shady Dealings. Shady Dealings will hopefully get John away to move this Seismitoad back into the active. Hunter, did you retreat an energy off of your Meowstick? Then the Horror Psychic should not be there, right? Because that would be a double energy attach, right? Did you pay to retreat? Or was that energy from a turn previous? Thank you. Was it Esper the previous turn? It matters, guys. It matters. It matters. Anyways, we're here now. John's at 4 prizes. We're playing from here, folks. I'm not scuffing this game up anymore. Rescue Carrier, bringing the Comfy back. There was no previous turn. That was only Hunter's second turn. Isn't this Hunter's turn 3? Because John had turn 2 Seismitoad. Maybe I'm tripping. That's fine. There's a Banette here. Let's play ball. Banette, Puppet Offering. Two to Lost Zone. That's 7 cards in the Lost Zone now. Flower Selecting. Got Trekking Shoes and Nest Ball. Trekking Shoes goes to Lost Zone. There's 8. Just 2 cards left. But this fella cannot attack right now because of the Quaking Zone ability. So it looks like Hunter is just trying to sack a Pokemon with the Horror Psychic Energy. So Hunter will get his 2 damage counters either way, all right? Hunter's going to get those 2 damage counters if it's the last thing he does. I think chat bullied me into thinking that Hunter double attached. I don't think he actually did double attach, so we're just playing from here. Hunter thought he was going to attack, but no. Does not get to attack because of the Quaking Zone ability. Now John has Octillery online. Could use actually Fion to push this Mesprit out of the active spots. Octillery draws a couple cards. Enhanced Hammer to remove the Horror Psychic Energy. Wow, I mean, okay, that's kind of insane. Is that Uxie? Dang it, dude. They're all so similar. All right, Uxie. It's an Uxie, guys. That's right. I know that. Uxie's got the yellow helmet. Azelf's got the pink one. And then the blue one's the one no one likes. Right. Pink one's Mesprit, not Azelf. Actually, no, the blue one's Azelf. That's the coolest one. I would say that... Which one's the one no one likes? The pink one's the one no one likes. Mesprit. I can't even remember his name. Azelf is the dopest one, actually. Oh, I got a Marnie. Who is your favorite of the Lake Trio? I actually think Azelf probably is the coolest one. Yeah, Azelf's the coolest one. Uxie has the worst hat, but historically has the strongest ability, so... All right, John, I'm going to take him to the prize here. I swear, if chat... Tony, if you sat at home and gaslit me into thinking that Hunter double attached and he loses the game by that 20 damage, Tony, I want you to know that you ruined League Night if you did that. It's the last time I ever listened to Tony. I had to say, usually chat is like 90% right with rulings. They watch closer than I do. But not Tony. Tony is usually 90% wrong. I need to, that's the thing, is I need to put that into the equation. Tony says I can ban him from chat forever if this 99-1 matchup is decided by that 20 damage. Hannah in the chat wants to know, why does Hunter have 2 lost zones? I swear, it's just the way lost zone players are, okay? They just like to do whatever they want. They put their cards all over the table. They play. It's a total mess. All right, Hunter has made his way to 10 cards in the Lost Zone thanks to Lost Vacuum. But now cannot actually attack because he has to get a second energy onto Sableye. Oh my gosh, the wash energy. And you can see Hunter just dismayed. Oh my god, the wash energy. The wash energy makes it so that all effects of attacks are ignored, chat. The Seismitoad is literally invincible to Sableye right now. Wash energy makes it so that all effects of attacks on that Seismitoad are ignored. Hunter would need Enhanced Hammer to remove it. Oh my god, what an insane turn. I had no idea John was playing the wash energy. And as insult to injury, boss's orders to bring up the Sableye, and another huge echoed voice from John. Hunter has not taken a single prize yet, folks. And the Enhanced Hammer is in the Lost Zone. Oh, man. He just pitched the hammer. Hunter's got nothing he can do. This is a scoop angle. Hunter plays Enhanced Hammer to remove special energy. But then John with the wash energy out of left field. Crazy. Denying the whole point of Hunter's deck is to place damage counters on the opponent's Pokemon. Now Hunter's got a cool card, Nihilego. This Nihilego is interesting. Got the Nightcap attack. You can only use this attack if your opponent has exactly 2 prize cards remaining. Yup. But can Hunter get 2 energy on it? Versus Seeker will... Okay, Hex. Okay, and then... Versus Seeker Hex. It's happening, folks. Nihilego's going to kill the Toad. It's got to place 140 damage on itself, I think. No, why didn't you do the thing? No. You should have copied the... No, why didn't you do the thing, bro? No, you could have killed it. No, Hunter, no, bro. You could have copied the Frostlass, dude. If you copied the Frostlass, Nihilego can use anybody's attack. Oh, no. It says you can only use this attack if your opponent has exactly 2 prize cards remaining. Choose one of your opponent's Pokemon's attacks and use it as this attack. So what Hunter should have done is copy Frostlass on John's bench. It's got the Spiteful Sigh attack, does 140 damage, plus the 4 damage counters already on the Seismitoad. That would have been 180. Could have actually taken the knockout, but instead Hunter decided to just hit it for 120, which is not enough for the KO. So Hunter with a very big misplay there. Missing the key knockout. I don't know that it particularly matters since John already has a loaded up Inteleon on the bench, but it would have been nice for posterity to at least knock out the Seismitoad. And there is the scoop. Hunter, you should have copied Spiteful Sigh, bro. You could have taken the knockout. You could copy anybody with Nihilego, not just the active. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there we go. GG's, GG's, GG's. I don't know why. I love Hunter, but I feel like I feel like he's the kind of player who I can push, you know. He can learn from his mistakes. You can't do that with everybody. I don't know. Maybe Hunter secretly hates me because I give him a hard time, but like maybe he's not the kind of...
I played 2 games with Hunter before this tonight, and all 3 games I played him tonight, he red carded me turn 1. Marshadow is still alive.
That's insane. That's crazy. That's crazy, bro. Hunter apparently played against John 3 times tonight. They played 2 fun games before League, and all 3 games they played, he went turn 1 red card against him. That's crazy. But John overcame and took the dub with his Seismitoad deck. That's nuts. Wow. John is now just 1 win away from taking the dub with his Seismitoad deck. 21 players in the house tonight. Still got quite a few matches going on here. That one was a relatively quick one, and I mean, of course it was. Turn two Seismitoad. Absolutely disgusting play from John. Love to see it. Hunter plays a lot of Gym Leader Challenge. He's obviously a very good player. He's got quite a few badges to his name already. Hunting for the Psychic badge. John's got 2. Hunter just earned his badge with the cool Quagsire Water deck last week. So both John and Hunter tied at 2 badges on the season so far. All right. Just 1 round to go here tonight. It's been a awesome day. Gym Leader Challenge game so far. Oh my God. Look at this. Look at this Twitch bet, dude. The freaking ooh, not that. No, desktop. All right. Oh no, the Infinity Zone. Anyways, look at this. This Twitch bet. The Hunter believer 20,000 to 10, dude. That person just got a lot of tricky points. Whoever put the 10 on John, bro. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Everybody went nuts over the turn 1 red card. Turn 1 red card and everything. Brandon, how many tricky points you got now? It's 4 a.m. in Germany, Hannah. Oh, get some sleep. Thanks again for the gifts. Have a great night. Brandon's got over 7 million tricky points. Tricky goat. Chandelure. Oh, I didn't get to see him yet. If you have at least 10 fire energy in your discard pile, attack does 100 more damage. That's kind of cool. 150 for 1, 180 for 2. Is fire eating? Is fire back, chat? Yo, with the chandelier art rare, the art rare is very pretty. That is a gorgeous art rare there. Do love that. It's fire too. So the thing about these kinds of cards is that stage 2 single prize attackers are like unplayable in standard format. So whenever you see a stage 2 single prize attacker, you got to start thinking about Gym Leader Challenge, because it's like, when was the last, like, there was like Shining Arcana Gardevoir, but that card wasn't like, it's an exception, right? Because that card complemented Gardevoir EX. It wasn't really like a standalone good card. And then Dusknoir, yeah, kind of an outlier as well. It's just got an incredibly broken ability, and it doesn't actually have to like stay in play. It kind of just like blows itself up, and you know, it just blows itself. It literally, it comes into play to instantly leave play. That's it. It's like being a stage 2 Pokemon is irrelevant. It just is there to evolve and die. Ethan's Typhlosion is cool. It does a lot of damage. It's got the support engine with like the Ethan's Adventure supporter, but the thing is, in a format with like Dragapult, I don't even think that 208. The thing about all right, when I think about like single prize attackers, the last single prize deck that I thought was actually good was Blacephalon. Honestly. Am I tripping or am I? This was the last good single prize deck. Somebody prove me wrong. Don't say Ancient Box, dude. Don't you even say that deck is not good. do not say Ancient Box. That is like the fakest deck of all time. Lost Box. Okay, the Lost Box decks were like kind of single prize decks, I guess. Cloth, by the end of Cloth's life cycle, it was like mostly a Terapagos deck. Sablezard was a single prize deck. Yeah, you're right. Sablezard was. And that's because Radiant Charizard, that's the thing though, like Radiant Charizard, this card is one of the most broken single prize Pokemon ever printed. Like, this thing is insane. 160 hit points on a basic Pokemon that does 250 damage at the end of the game. You gotta be kidding me. Right? This thing's freaking nuts. This is like Rapid Strike Malamar. All right, Rapid Strike Malamar was okay. Yeah, that deck was all right. Omnipoke top 8 at a regional with it. I'll give it that. The Lost Zone decks, I forgot about. Like, Lost Zone was just, it was crazy. Yeah. Lost Zone was crazy. With this card, Lost Zone was crazy. Blocklax, that's true. All right, Blocklax. Just pure Blocklax, yeah. Snorlax. More like Snorlax. Zap Beasts? God. I was more of a fan of just Jirachi Zapdos without Buzzwole, but my friend Will was a huge Zap Beasts head. Loved that deck. He did. I like the pure Zapdos Jirachi build better. But those decks just got shut down so bad by Muck. But yeah, like your single prize attacking decks are in a really, really bad spot right now. Yo, what is this Blaziken deck? City League winner Blaziken? Shut up. Shut up. You're going to give the people hope. Holy smokes. Ain't no way. Ain't no way, bro. The Blaziken Schnasty? No way. What's this Pecharunt doing here? What is he doing here? Why is he here? So, why is he here? Why is he here? What am I missing? Why is this thing here? Seriously, why is it here? He's a retreat locker? This thing can attack? This thing. Wait, he can attack, bro? I have never seen this card attack before. Never. That's crazy. I've only ever seen it use the toxic subjugation ability. I didn't know this thing could attack. So we play darkness energy so you can retreat lock people and poison them. Okay. And then you can use Monkey Dory. Dude, the Blaziken. All right, this is what I got to play to NAIC right here. Oh, yeah. You're telling me I can play this Blaziken in standard format? All we got to do is set up a bunch of chickens. but there's shame in format with the Flower Curtain ability. It doesn't seem like a great time for Blaziken. But all right, but you got the Blaziken with Monkey Dory. Just think of all the numbers you're hitting there. Counter catcher. Counter catcher though. Oh yeah, that's nuts. Takes 3 energy, who cares? Pidgeot, Blaziken. All right, yeah. That's a keeper for sure. And we're screen capping that bad boy. Flareon, Leafeon. What other stuff we got going? I saw this Mewtwo list I didn't love. Yeah. No energy switch. I love Zapdos. Zapdos one of my favorite Pokemon ever, but like the Zapdos, I'm not sold on it. Jamming Wing, 30 damage, move and energy from your opponent's active to one on their bench. Is it really worth a slot in your deck to be able to do that? And Murkrow? I guess like they're going for a little bit of like a disruptive angle. Yeah, Ogie Dogie EX deck? Never mind. This is not Ogie Dogie EX. This is Ogie Dogie Adrena Power. All right, what are we doing here? This is just an Ogie Dogie. All right, this deck is hot. All right, this is just Crispin. And you're good punching. Got top 32 at a recent regional. Really? No way. Believe it when I see it. Was it special events? Utrecht? It was Utrecht. All right. Oh my. What are we looking at? Single prizers are not dead. They're not dead, chat. I'm just not hip. What are we doing here? Okay, so you just crispin onto Ogie Dogie. That's what we're doing? All right, Chase says this list is legit. I have it built physically. All right, Chase, you trying to test for NAIC? This list? All right, is it this list? Or this list? This list looks kind of crazy. You just got Ogie Dogies, Hops Cramorants, and then you clean up with Blood Moon or Saluna. I like that. You know what I don't like? 4 Culver's Tenacity. That seems ridiculous. You use Crispin and then attach Luminous. You Crispin get the Scizor one. This one seems like the worst one. But there's actually draw power here. I got to give you that. This one's got Hops Cramorant in it. Never trust a City League deck. This one you've got Tenacious Tail. Why is Scizor good? Who is Scizor good against in Standard? Monkey Dory? There's no way your Ogie Dogie actually get damage counters on them that you move with Monkey Dory, is there? All right, this seems kind of sick, honestly. You'll whoop me with it? I hope so. I would play this. The Monkey Dory is for probably the Dragapult matchup, right? You could just throw the damage counters back on them. It's a monkey meta. You gotta play monkeys, yeah. 280 hit points to try. All right. All right. I'm seeing the vision. All right. Can we play this to NAIC? Yeah, I could. I'm excited about it. We could play this. I don't want to play any EX cards. I don't wanna. I just want to play my dogs. All right, Scizor is fine. And the legacy energy? Oh yeah. Do you hit anything good for weakness? I did see Senti Scorch Blissey. I'm not convinced on that deck. Decks like that where you have to like set up an attack, you do like one attack and then that, like, nah, not. No, I'm not into that. To Dunsparce CX is cool. Yeah, this seems kind of good. 4 Iono, Pheasantipity EX, Rods, Artisan. Seems consistent enough. Start building. You're so right. 3 Crispin? Why 3? Do you think you could beat Raging Bolt with this? Yeah, like Senti Scorch Blissey gives Steelix Dodrio fraud vibe. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's like decks like that don't. It doesn't. Nah. This has got to be able to beat. All right, this has got to beat. It's got to beat Raging Bolt. Right? Don't they just knock out your Fez like a million times? And you just lose. All right, this Matthew had a friend Jimmy, and they both played the deck, and they got 31st and 80th. There's no Arvin. That's like the main reason I'm still here looking at it. So there's no Arvin in this godforsaken deck. Thank goodness. I'm a huge Arvin hater. Yeah, and you don't even have to put the Fez down. You can just use the Dunsparce to draw cards. Plus, who doesn't like drawing cards with the Dunsparce? That seems like fun. All right, we got round number 5, the 5th and final round of Gym Leader Challenge League Nights. Let's go. All right, yeah, that one's going to be one we build to test. Plus, you get to play Scizor. And you get to play Ogie Dogie. I could play Master Ball Ogie Dogies. You could play the Art Rare Ogie Dogies. I could blang this thing out. Master Ball Ogie Dogies. Heat, dude. Heat. I'm going to bling out my single press. I'll play 3 different Ogie Dogie in my deck. There's an Art Rare Scizor. Get out of town. Oh. All right, I'm in. How do I not know about this card? This thing looks sick. I was just thinking to myself that I wish that there was a different looking Scizor. I'm in, dude. I'm in. I'm sold. I'm already there. I've got the 60 submitted to NAIC now. Doge'd have 280 hit points. That's so many HP. All right. Let's get into its 5th and final round. Going up now here at Full Grip Games, GLC League Nights. Let's get it rocking here. See who we got for our final round of the evening. Again, we've got the Full Grip Games Destined Rivals doubleheader happening next weekend, Saturday and Sunday. For our final round, let's see who we got. Jack and John. Let's go. John Patterson is 4-0. Jack Martin is 3-1. We get one more opportunity to see John's Palafin deck in action. Jack has an opportunity to play the role of the disruptor here tonight. John is the only 4-0 here in the house. So it is John's league night to lose. If John wins, he wins the water badge that he's been chasing now, I want to say for a couple of months. All right, here we go. If Jack wins, it's anybody's night because it'll come down to resistance. And when it comes down to resistance, it could go any which way. Resistance is a tiebreaker system where you basically take all of your opponent's win percentages and average them together, and that is your resistance. So when you have a night where everybody ends, say like the top 4 finishers all end with a record of 4-1 or whatever, then it comes down to resistance. Whose opponents had the most win percentages? And then it ranks from there. So if it's not a clear-cut winner based on record, the next tiebreaker is resistance. John has a clear opportunity to run away with it. If he can just win one more game. You see Jack opens Mr. Mimes, got Wobbuffets playing a Psychic deck. So we got another Water versus Psychic matchup. Wobbuffets with the Buy Barricade ability would be very strong to get into the active spots. Doesn't have to be this turn, but just soon, as I don't think that John is going to be using any abilities on the first turn of the game. I see John has just a Finizen Pass. Things are looking kind of bleak here for John. This is not the explosive turn 2 Seismitoad that we saw last game. John does have Palafin in hand, so can evolve that guy up. It's got Raihan, no energy online. Octillery, Drizzle, Verseeker, that hand is garbage. Yep, going to be a pass back from John. But Jack has Marnie and Iono in hand. So is going to opt to play the Marnie because I don't think Jack had another draw option available. So he's going to choose Marnie, and I'm sure John is very thankful for that, as he will get to put his hand on the bottom of the deck and draw 4 fresh cards. And he does find some live cards off of that fresh set. Actually draws into the Frostlass. Basculin, and then Tate and Liza going to allow John to shuffle his hand into his deck and draw 5 cards. If John finds a water energy, this Frostlass is going in. Now, what's crazy about this Frostlass is it can really wreak havoc. I mean, it could just do 140 damage right here. John would take the lead, take a knockout, and then it can knock itself out. There's nothing stopping this Frostlass from just knocking itself out as well. Spiteful Sigh places 7 damage counters on itself and can do 140 damage. And here we go. Water energy. That's going to be a Spiteful Sigh for the knockout. But does John want to go get any other? I think he's better off saving it. I would see myself maybe using, like, switch into Basculin, gather the crew, go get Remoraid, then use a level ball to go get Octillery. I don't actually want to see John waste this level ball here. Yeah, I think patience is better. Like, look at your opponent's board. Your opponent's kind of like not doing anything. Use Switch Raft next turn, heal a little bit, go into Basculin, but take out this Wob. Yo, what's up, Pig Chef? It looks like John is considering... I do not want to see John retreat this thing. Yeah, he was considering a retreat. I really like this play. 6 damage counters on the Frostlass. Take a prize. All right, first prize has been drawn. John got just 5 prizes left. Yeah, I liked the patience shown there by John. I think that he made a correct call. I like this play a lot. You just take the knockout on the Wob. You could afford to save the level ball for 1 turn because you don't know if you're going to be left high and dry with your hand. The level ball is always an out. Level ball can go get Drizzile or Octillery. But if you waste the level ball going and getting a basic Pokemon, you don't really need to do that. The Basculin on your bench can go get those basic Pokemon. So you don't really need to waste the level ball to go get a basic Pokemon. You have a way to go get basic Pokemon. So save the level ball. And now the level ball's still in deck. And it'll be very valuable pretty much at any point that he draws it later. John's got a fine hand here. What does Jack find to respond? Jack does desperately need to get some basic Pokemon into play. It looks like he's eyeing up a quick ball. Which could help him to go get 1, but Jack needs more than 1 basic. I mean, he's got... His board is pretty much vacant right now. Mr. Mime has got like a useless bench barrier thing going on. Not particularly good against John's deck. And then Natu in the active is not being too effective. Be much stronger as a Xatu. But even then, Xatu is only good if you've got strong Pokemon to accelerate energy onto. And I would say Jack does not have too many of those in play right now. Actually, 0. What is that? 10 damage? Is that all right? Flip 3 coins, does 10 times the number of heads. The Natu could have actually taken a knockout there. Oh my goodness. If 2 heads were flipped, that's crazy. That's nuts. Wow. Jack just barely missing the knockout with the Natu. Frostlass hanging on for dear life. And we have to see if John wants to go for the play where he knocks out both himself and the Natu. John's got Ball Guy this turn, so great for setting up, getting more Pokemon into play. We'll see which balls he decides to get off of the Ball Guy. There's that level ball again, quick ball, and potentially dive ball. Really thinking this one through. It looks like Nest Ball is the final choice. At this point, I think John, certainly wants to start setting up those consistency Pokemon. We see Sobble hit the bench, which is a great start. Probably also want Remoraid if it's not in the prize cards. And then The trusty Seismitoad would also be wonderful, right? Timpole. Palafin and Seismitoad are kind of the core two attackers in this deck. Frostlass really good for just kind of keeping up trades, early aggro. And Frostlass just an all-around great option. Just get the game moving in your favor early on. It looks like the final card that John's going to grab is the Cast Form with the free retreats. Nope. Actually, going to discard that. It looks like John is actually just going to go for it. Spiteful Sigh to knock himself out. Love to see that. Does award both players a prize card, but Jack's board is so underdeveloped that I really like the aggression there from John. Jack's board is looking super bare, so it doesn't even feel like that much of a risk from John to do. And Jack will use Night Stretcher, bring the Natu back. Got Mr. Mime in the active. Psychic Energy to Ralts. Evolution Incense for Kirlia. And Kirlia is now online. It's got the Refinement ability. You can use that to churn through the deck a little bit. And now Jack is one step closer to Gallade as well. Iona will reset both hands. Put them on the bottom of their decks. And then Jack will get 5, 1 for each of his remaining prize cards. Finds Buddy Buddy Poffin, which is super clutch at this moment because Jack needs to really get this board fleshed out. So Buddy Buddy Poffin's going to allow him to search his deck for 2 basic Pokemon with 70 hit points or less, put them straight onto the bench. It looks like he's got Inkay and Duskull. So this is a cool Psychic variant, playing Dust Noir with the Curse Blast ability. So if Jack can get that going, he could really tear up John's board, taking multiple knockouts at the same time. But Jack's still a little ways off. No clear, great attacker for next turn. I mean, he does have 1 Psychic Energy on Kirlia. Could evolve up into Gallade. We do see Mysterious Treasure in the hand. No good cards to discard, really, off of Refinement. So we'll choose to discard Cynthia and Caitlin, which I think is okay. And then just has to pass. Gallade could be the next attacker for Jack. But it's always tough sending out Gallade as your first real attacker, because Gallade is also your best support Pokemon. So to have to waste your Gallade early on to put pressure on the opponent doesn't feel great. You like to have other basic attackers leading the charge, like either Iron Boulder or Necrozma with the special laser. But in a pinch, I mean, Gallade can do it in a pinch, for sure. And I certainly have led with Gallade as my first attacker before. Sometimes it's just what you got to do. John Scott's Verse Seeker for another ball guy play is going to get the remaining balls out of the deck. It's got Octillery set up. Octillery's got the Abyssal Hand ability. It'll be great for drawing cards as well. We can see the emphasis from these players on setting up those consistency Pokemon. Capacious Bucket can go grab 2 water energy from the deck. And John's got Sui and Basculin in the active, which could gather the crew and go get another basic Pokemon onto the bench. I suspect that John is just going to be taking a turn to kind of get a Pokemon charged up. That's what it looks like. Water energy to Timpole. And this is kind of a tempo turn. Next turn, John's going to have a lot going on with Ultra Ball in hand and research. Ultra Ball can go get Inteleon. Inteleon can use Shady Dealings. Shady Dealings can go get 2 trainer cards out of the deck. Jack's got Malamar online now. Psychic Recharge, get energy from the discard pile onto the bench Pokemon. We've got Dusclops 2. Corlia still got a Refinement to be able to use. Second energy going on to Corlia. Then Mysterious Treasure. Okay, and I think that we're going to see Gallade make its way out. Because Jack can use... Yeah, I think I want to see Jack use Refinement first. Extend the hand. Draw a couple more cards. And then with Mysterious Treasure, you can go get Gallade. Gallade can then use Buddy Catch. Go get Guzma. And this is fine. Could just use Mysterious Treasure and discard Enhanced Tamer. I think it's either one, you know. The Enhanced Tamer could be useful. I guess John does play Wash Energy. Ultra Ball could be useful. You could use it to go get Xatu. Oh, Jack is going to play, okay, Avery. So not actually going on the offensive here. I expected to see Jack go for Guzma, try and take something out, which actually I think this play is better. So I like the patience, because if Jack were to just kind of like jump in with Gallade, Buddy Catch, Guzma, then he would probably swiftly get punished. I mean, John's got a very established board, but to force John to discard his bench down to 3 means that he's going to have to make a difficult decision. Jack's actually going to be able to attack John's board more. I mean, see, look at these discards. These discards are tough. John doesn't want to discard any of this. You know, leaving the Basculin in the active. John doesn't really want the Basculin there. He doesn't need it. Oh, and he's got the rope, too. This is insane. So Jack actually is going to have his cake and eat it, too. He's going to get to... Oh, this is a tough call. I think you kind of have to send the Drizzile. I really don't like sending the Palafin here. Seismitoad does not knock out the Gallade. So this is kind of like the dream turn from Jack. I mean, this is incredible. Avery into Escape Rope, Swirling Slice. 160 damage, knock out the Palafin, tie this game up at 4-4 prizes. And Jack can actually send an energy back to Dusclops. And funny enough, Dusknoir, known for its Curse Blast ability, is actually a valid attacker. Does 150 damage. Jack's going to take the Dusknoir off the prizes. I know John loves that Seismitoad, but I worry here that Seismitoad is not going to be enough at this point in the game. I think John really needed to prioritize that Palafin. Yeah, I'm not liking that John decided to sack the Palafin. I feel like the Palafin was the only answer to the Gallade. Because the Gallade will get problematic fast. And John does have Ultra Ball, can Ultra Ball and go get Inteleon. And then we've got Shady Dealings. I also think John should have probably just sent the Temple. Because honestly, if you send the Temple, right? I know John doesn't want to get rid of the Temple, but the Palafin was so much more valuable here than the Temple is. Because the Palafin just needed like a Raihan or like an Aqua Patch in order to attack. Exactly. So I think that John actually made a pretty sizable misstep here. And if John ends up losing this game, it's going to be because he sacked the Palafin instead of the Temple. Yeah. So I think John had a very clear route. Could have used Ultra Ball to go get Shady Dealings. The Enhanced Hammer here is pretty big, though. Got to say, all right, Rare Candy, Seismitoad, Enhanced Hammer, Research. We're cooking. I mean, he's cooking for sure. There's something going on here. It's not horrible, but it is. This is not nearly as safe, I think. The Seismitoad is online. Keep in mind, in order to attack this thing, Quaking Zone is making it so Jack needs to find an extra energy in order to attack. However, you're keeping the Gallade online, and that's like the most troubling part about all this is that the Gallade is still here, and Gallade can use that Buddy Catch ability to go get Hex Maniac. But John says, in Seismitoad we trust. Jack's got the very scary Dusknoir out, though, now. Dusknoir's a big boy, 160 hit points, got the Curse Blast ability, can place 13 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon at the cost of knocking itself out, and then its attack is not too bad either. Shadow Bind, 150 damage, and during next turn, the defending Pokemon can't retreat. Yeah, and Jack can go get whatever supporter he wants out of the deck, right? And it looks like he's eyeing up a Sycamore to just discard the hand, draw 7 cards. And that's what he's going to get. Sycamore. There we go. Discard the hand. Draw 7. Can Jack find a get out of jail free card here? I don't think so. The escape rope's already down. That Gallade is probably a goner. He could retreat it, right? But then retreat into what? The Articuno can charge some energy into play, but again, the Articuno won't be able to attack. All right, maybe John is correct to trust in the Toad. Maybe John's Toad Gambit is paying off, folks. And Jack doesn't have a great line. I mean, the Articuno, Cruel Charge, can get 2 energy onto itself, sure. Still not attacking. The Quaking Zone ability proving to be extremely disruptive here. And that Quaking Zone ability is just stopping everything. There's no way Jack sends the Dusknoir. I mean, for what, right? Like, there's no point. Don't send it yet. You just to do it? You just keep it. All right, here we go. I guess if there's a card you want in the prizes. I don't love that from Jack. I felt like the Dusknoir kind of gave Jack stronger board presence. And also, the threat of the Dusknoir was one of the most threatening things that Jack had on his board. But now that Dusknoir is gone, and that's the thing, is like you gotta think about Dusknoir as like card advantage, board state advantage. Like, Jack just sacrificed a stage 2 Pokemon to take out a useless basic. It's not worth. It's like, think about that was 3 cards. Jack just sacked 3 cards for 1. Right? Duskull, Dusclops, and Dusknoir. And an energy. 4. So it's those kinds of things you really got to think about when you're playing Pokemon cards. Jack just 4 for 1 on a Basculin, right? 4 cards from his board to take out a single one. He netted 1 card from the prize, but also gave his opponent a prize. So it's like, that trade just, I don't think in any reality is that trade worth it. To get a supporter card that you might want to use next turn, I understand that you don't have an action and it doesn't feel good to pass, but I think you kind of just have to. I think if Jack's board, right now, if Jack's board had Dusknoir and Gallade on it, then it would be looking really, like, still pretty intimidating. But now with just a damaged Gallade and Mewtwo, and the energy is gone off the retreat, so like it's starting to feel pretty hectic here for Jack. And John has kind of fixed his board state issue. He's got an energy on Inteleon now with the Muscle Band, which is really important. Muscle Band's going to fix a lot of math. John's going to go to 2 prizes remaining. Jack does have Raihan off of the Buddy Catch. Raihan can go accelerate an energy to Mewtwo. Jack can get another energy and then put Dimension Valley in play, and the Mewtwo will actually be able to take out the Seismitoad. So Jack's still very much in this game, as John's board is very underdeveloped. Dimension Valley pretty much negating that Seismitoad Quaking Zone, allowing Mewtwo to attack for 3 energy with Limit Break. Raihan enabling the extra attachment. And Jack could run away with this one. Depends on what John has. John only has to take 2 more knockouts. Inteleon can take 1 with Aqua Bullet. So Jack has got a pretty tough ride here. He's going to need John to miss a beat. Mewtwo, slay the frog. Jack goes to 2 prizes remaining. And John pretty much has the best card he could have in this moment is Raihan. Gets that extra energy onto Inteleon, but what is he going to do to cook up a final attacker? He can only get 1 card out of his deck. I think he was eyeing up Rescue Stretcher. The thing is that if John puts 20 damage on Gallade with the effect of Aqua Bullet, then I mean, Gallade could go down with literally just 20 damage. I mean, so like Rescue Stretcher could bring back literally any little basic that could do 20. It doesn't matter, anybody. And John could go Basculegion. He's got Basculegion in hand. It's probably his best bet. Inteleon's Aqua Bullet, 140 damage, 20 onto the Gallade. 1 prize separates John from the water badge he's been chasing for weeks now. Can he get there? Jack has a heavily damaged Gallade. That's all he's got. Can use Buddy Catch 1 more time. Search his deck for a supporter. What do we got? Hex Maniac. Going to be useless. If you knock out the Inteleon, there's no abilities. Judge could be the death knell. Let's see. John has to rely on his deck. Can he find an energy and a Basculegion? Keep in mind, John used Ball Guy twice this game. So every ball card in his deck is gone. And Jack will take the knockout. Going to 1 prize remaining. Can John do it? Energy found. But Basculin only does 10. And John needs to do 20 damage. The Inteleon line has to come back to hand. It's true. What does Sobble do 20? Aqua Patch Sobble. I think I'd still want to see Aqua Patch to Sobble. Like, why the heck not? It can't hurt, right? All right, Aqua Patch to Sobble, and you got a Marnie for it. All the balls are gone, guys. Can he find it? 5 cards. No! And he misses it. No count. Does he have the counter stadium? I think. He does have a counter stadium. So he can... Didn't play the counter stadium. What? No counter stadium? I know. If he attached both energy to Sobble, he had the win. That was crazy. Wow. I thought for sure John was going to walk away with that one, but Jack walking a tightrope there. Absolutely nuts. Game really came down to the wire. GG's. GG's. Great games to both players. John played exceptionally well throughout the night. A couple of misalignments there in that final game. Maybe a couple of routes that could have gone differently. But Jack stayed the course, kept a level head, and walked out with the win. It's going to come down to resistance tonight, folks, to determine our league winner. So there we go. You can follow Full Grip Games on X in order to... Wait, who won? I think they said Jack won. I think I heard Jack won. Anyways, that's going to do it for stream tonight, folks. Y'all have a great night. I'll be back next week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Y'all have a lovely evening. Make sure to check out FullGripGames.com for all the best Pokemon trading card game singles and sealed product, as well as DragonShield.com for all the best sleeves and accessories. I'll catch you next week.